subscribers. And in addition to that, and you see the power of the tariff. I mean, the tariff is good. And no.
Hello, Christopher, Jess and Holly, Aldo, Amy, Zen Balance, Jonathan, Josh, CB, Judy, Fletcher, Zen Balance, Violet, Cindy, Sherry, Clara, Nicole, Adam, Dan, Tamara, Amy, Tarrant, Pam, MJ, KK, Chris, Jacob. What's going on? So I'm assuming many of us thought we were going to be on Substack tonight, which we normally are on Substack tonight, but we're not on Substack tonight. And that is because Jolly had an obligation or something, so he wasn't available to do Substack. So here we are right now. And I didn't want to not go live at all. I wanted to at least come in, say what's up, say what's going on, catch up with everybody. If you guys missed it earlier, I was on Substack, did a live stream, discuss some what's going, did a current event live stream in the morning. I debated somebody that came in, a complete lunatic. I debated earlier today, a guy that was so unhinged. I debated a guy on Substack today that was probably one of the most unhinged people I've ever spoken to. And that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. If you are the most unhinged person I've ever spoken to, or one of the most, you never be the most, because I've had guys that are just completely unhinged. But this is one of the most unhinged individuals I've ever spoken to in my life this morning on Substack. If you were there on Substack today, let me know in the chat. I'm going to be putting, yes, somebody said, are you going to be putting that on Patreon? Mark Martinez, that entire live is going on Patreon and Substack. So if you are a Substack subscriber, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you're going to get access to the debate on Substack this morning. Somebody said, Adam, are you ever coming back to TikTok? Not as far as I know, at least not for the next 100 days or so. Nope. Not until Trump gets his grimy fucking hands off it. So, if you're a Patreon subscriber, if you're a Substack subscriber, if you're a subscriber on these platforms, you are going to get access to this debate. It's about 30 minutes long. The guy was basically saying he wants me to go in prison, wants me to end up in prison. It was absolutely unhinged. Highly encourage you to go subscribe on Substack. If you have not subscribed on Substack, I highly encourage you to do that and not miss out. TikTok is done, guys. It's definitely in its last stages, for sure. At least the TikTok we knew is in its last stages. So TikTok will probably be dead in about a year or so, maybe less. As you see, a lot of big creators are jumping to other platforms, and that is because TikTok will be dying. So you see a lot of people going to Substack. You see a lot of people going to, trying to establish their YouTube. Well, that's partially because there's some issues with TikTok and its ownership and all that, and its relationship to Trump is the biggest issue for a lot of people. So Substack is an app. Yes, you download it. You can also go to substack.com, but you got to download the app. That's part of it. And watch the lives, Not just the lives. I post written content over there. So, Sue, well, I do the same lives on these other platforms, Sue. So all you have to do is make sure you follow over here and follow on Substack, and you will get, in fact, the content's better on these other platforms than it is on TikTok. If you mean you miss me arguing for 4 hours in a row with Republicans, I still argue with Republicans. I just don't argue with them 4 hours in a row, because that's kind of pointless. I have a fucking hair in my throat right now. I have a hair in my throat. What is substance? What is Substack, you mean? Substack. Go to the link tree in my TikTok bio. You seem to still be on TikTok, so go to the link tree in my TikTok bio, and you're going to just click the link that says Substack, and you're going to download the app, and you're going to be on, and then you'll be on Substack. And that's the way that goes. So Donald Trump is who we thought we thought he was. I named the live that. Don't know how long I'm going to be live. I'd appreciate if everybody hits the X button and hits the thumbs up really quick just to give the live. I wanted to make sure that I showed my face so that way people weren't like, where the fuck were you? Or where the fuck are you today? Because we were supposed to be live. You know? So make sure I wanted to make sure that I showed my face. I'm probably going to go get pasta in a little bit. How does that sound? Penne alla vodka with some bread. And then you dip the bread in the penne alla vodka. Hell yes.
I've been a very big opponent of Venezuela and Maduro.
This guy's lost his fucking. I mean, he was unhinged anyway. He was unhinged anyway. I do not know why I have lost my ability to scroll on my interface here. For some reason, I cannot scroll right now. I'm going to have to figure this out for tomorrow. Because normally I can go down, like, I can scroll down, and it's not letting me do that today. Like, it's not letting me scroll.
We don't even yet know the names of the 67 people who were killed, and you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control and seemingly the member of the U.S. military who was flying that Black Hawk helicopter. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think with the names of the people, I mean the names of the people that are on the plane, you think that's going to make a difference?
Does it comfort their families?
They are a group of people that have lost their lives. If you want a list of the names, we can give you that. We'll be giving that very soon.
This is weird.
Coordination with American Airlines.
Weird things happen to me here. I can't scroll down. I'm like, oh, there we go. That was weird. As soon as I did it, it worked. I looked up and it worked. All right. See if I think this is it.
Joel.
I believe this is it. This is the one interview I wanted to talk about. This is really bad.
All right, we're back.
Near Reagan National Airport.
Yesterday in speech.
So this guy just got confirmed. Sorry. I want to literally blow my freaking top. This guy just got confirmed. Just listen to this interview. It is how this guy is in a position of power, I don't know. This happened this morning. This was this morning. I woke up this morning, a couple sips of coffee, planned on talking about this on Substack, and I see this guy's face on national television.
Speak up often because of this tragedy that took place a couple of days ago. Here to react, the Secretary of Defense for the first time as his new position, Pete Hegseth. Pete, I wish it was under different circumstances.
Good morning.
What have you found out over the last 24 hours you could tell our audience, except for the last thing we knew is that we've had two pretty experienced Black Hawk pilots, right?
That's right, 3. And good morning to you all. It is a tough.
Watching this guy's face in front of the Pentagon sign is wild. Like, holy shit.
Way to start. And we've tried to lean forward and be as transparent as possible.
Why do I want to scream in your ear? Like, this is one of these guys where I just want to walk up to in Walmart and go, ah!
Also respecting, of course, the families of those affected, the 64 on top of in that civilian airline, and then the 3 soldiers who have been notified. The next of kin have been notified, and we're being careful about that as well. Yeah, you got 3 Black Hawk pilots on effectively an annual night qualification run. So there's a corridor there that is utilized near Reagan National Airport that the military uses for exercises that are routine. But as you know, guys, nothing is routine in the military, whether it involves a training exercise or real world. In this particular case, they were qualifying on a night flight.
Video audio is low. The video audio should not be low, but try now. My audio's got to be loud. You know what I mean? I have it on half.
Which included night vision goggles. Now, we don't know is whether the goggles were engaged or up. And anyone that's been in the military knows you might use them. You might flip them up while flying. But if the qualification was a night flight, they could have been used. You have a lot of ambient light, a lot of
people. Just 1 second. I want you to know something. I'm about to go off on Dr. Drew. If you're interested in seeing me absolutely go off, and I mean go off, I could take my clothes, I don't know what, I could jump out of my skin. I could jump out of my skin right now how angry I am at Dr. Drew. And I'm going to explain when I'm done with this. So if you're anticipating that, please hit the heart button, exit the chat down, and hit a thumbs up. Give the live a thumbs up, please. Takes 2 seconds. I would appreciate it.
Things happening around Reagan. There can be depth perception problems. Again, that's speculation. Our investigation will tell us more. We also don't yet have the black box from the Black Hawk. When we do, we'll get a sense of internal communications. That might tell us exactly who was piloting that Black Hawk. You had a captain in training. You had a chief warrant officer, too, as an instructor. And then you also had a staff sergeant in that Black Hawk as well. Who was talking? Who was on the comms? Who was piloting? And then what, if any, confusion was there at the end, right? We're looking at altitude.
Guy, you know as much as we do. Like...
and the president was clear about that. Someone was at the wrong altitude. The investigation will help us understand.
No shit.
And that was the Black Hawk too high? Was it on course? Right now,
Why are these guys sitting there like they're listening? And like, look at this guy. Look at the guy right here. You know, in the Fox studio there. Why is he pretending like he's listening intently? Like, come on, guys. You're not actually listening to this guy like he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
We don't quite know. But what I want to tell your viewers and the nation is we will get to the bottom of what happened here. It's completely unacceptable in our nation's capital or anywhere. The military trains, and it trains robustly. And we're not going to stop training, even though there's a pause on this unit, on this exercise, which is an important one. And we should have that pause until we get to the bottom of this. Yeah. We have to train. We have to train safely. So something like this can never happen and is completely unacceptable.
So, Mr. Secretary, one of the requests that some people are making is to get rid of this program as well. They say there's too many helicopters with the planes in the sky, but guys can't get rid of this because, according to the reports, this was a part of the continuity of government, which is the protection if a president or something catastrophic happens. You guys got to get them to safe locations, so you just can't get rid of this program, right?
Yeah, can you guys imagine if Joe Biden was still president? They'd be claiming that this was some kind of deliberate conspiracy to hide some kind of information that they don't want getting out. If Joe Biden was the president, they'd be claiming this was a conspiracy. Now it's about altitude. If Joe Biden was president, it would be like, who was on that plane? Had to be someone with some really important information.
Lawrence, without getting into anything that's classified, there are many things that happen in and around the Capitol that ensure, in a contingency, in an emergency, our government is able to continue to operate. And what happened in this particular instance was one of those types of flights. I mentioned it at the press conference yesterday, a continuity of government. There are other aspects to what is done there. And you need to train as you fight. You need to rehearse in ways that would reflect a real world scenario. Now, there are ways to do that mitigates risk, right? And that's our job at the Defense Department, at the U.S. Army, is make sure we're mitigating risk when training has happened, especially when it's around.
All right, you're fucking boring. Give me something better.
Your intellectual disabilities and psychiatric problems. When you're a
All right, here we go. Now we're going to be blaming DEI. Here it is.
Last year. And then there is a report that the FAA launched a national outreach program for DEI, which included a push to hire workers with severe intellectual disabilities and psychiatric problems. When you're a mom and you're a dad and you're putting your kids on the plane or you're flying as a family, that's unacceptable. We don't care your race. We want to make sure whoever's in there, that it's fully manned, and we want to make sure they're qualified.
You know, this is somewhat ironic given the man, woman, black man. Guys, they hate DEI. They fucking can't stand it. They're sitting up here and blaming DEI for fucking what has happened here. These people are fucking delusional. Blaming DEI. Blaming DEI is just about white supremacy. That's all it is. That's all it will ever be. That's what it is. It's just about white supremacy. And pretending that you want to go back to a system that relied entirely on merit, which never actually existed in the United States. The black man sitting right next to him. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's one woman, one man, and one black man.
Completely unacceptable. Ainsley, you're exactly right.
And they're blaming
DEI.
They're blaming DEI for the plane crash.
Exactly how the staffing occurred in that particular air traffic control tower. And it sounds like there was a shortage, and the investigation will tell us more about that. But the environment around which we choose pilots or air traffic controllers, as the president pointed out correctly yesterday, better be the highest possible standard, the best of the best who are managing.
Then why the fuck are you the Secretary of Defense? If it is the best of the best and the highest possible standard we can have, why the fuck are you the Secretary of Defense, Muppet? You're a drunken, essaying, insurrectionist, coward.
You know,
serial cheater.
Multiple flights, I mean, a flight a minute, and managing radio traffic. I think the closest analogy to military service, guys, is pilots or air traffic controllers. I don't care what background they come from.
I'm waiting for the day a member of the media calls this out for what it is. You keep talking about the standard being so high. If that was the case, you wouldn't have got hired. All right? So don't talk about a high standard, Muppet. You couldn't even commit to staying sober. You couldn't commit to not shooting people in the kneecap. You couldn't even get through your marriage without impregnating another woman. Give me a break.
What their race is, what their gender is, if they're rich or they're poor. I just need them to be good at their job because I need my flight to land safely. The same thing applies to the Defense Department, to our military. I don't care about your background, your gender, or your skin color. I want the best. And that's why when the president...
Do you care about, like, whether or not you can fucking follow the Constitution?
It says...
Because apparently Senate GOP members don't.
Merit-based and colorblind, he's exactly right across government. So he's correct to point out at the FAA or in our flights, it should not be about anything other than excellence. That's it. Excellence. Right. I don't care the color of the skin of the pilot on my plane or in the air traffic controller. But we've, for too long under Biden, cared about those things, emphasized those things.
Well, if it was a true meritocracy, you would be nowhere to be found. You understand?
Real or perceived quotas. At the Defense Department, we're ending all of that. It's been made very clear across all of our services and commands. It is merit only, and that means we'll get the best of the best. And that's what our taxpayers and the American people expect and deserve. And in the business of warfighting, which the Defense Department is in, if you don't have the best of the best, you lose people. And that's why this is so important.
Well, then we're fucked. Did you hear what he just said, ladies and gentlemen? Did you hear what he just said? If you do not have the best of the best, then you lose people. Oh, God, we're absolutely screwed then.
All right, so if we can, and by the way, people say on the Black Hawk, ideally you like a 4-person crew with 2 in the back, being able to look at both sides of the helicopter. Does it bother you that it was a 3-man crew?
It's a good question, Brian. I've been in many Black Hawks, some of which had 3, some of which had a whole squad in the back, some of which had 4. That is a part of our investigation. I want your viewers and everyone.
So, like, I'm going to be totally transparent, and I couldn't even talk about this on TikTok, so I like being on these other platforms now and expanding my content to different places. It can be so much more unfiltered. It is weird. I'm not going to lie. The crash is weird. I'm not going to lie. It is fucking weird as hell. And I feel so sorry for those people. But I'm gonna tell you right now that, like, I don't. If we were under the Obama administration, Republicans would be telling everyone that there was a person on the plane that had a relationship to Joe Biden, was about to expose him for the war in Ukraine. Like, I can acknowledge that it's weird and, geez, something must have gone wrong and maybe there's something more to it, who knows? But if Republicans, I mean, if Joe Biden was president, Republicans would be saying that this is some kind of, like, conspiracy because there was someone on the plane that's about to expose Joe Biden. Do you see the difference between people on the left and people on the right? Like, I can acknowledge it's weird, but I also acknowledge I don't know enough about this to really get into whether or not it's something more than what we're being told. But Republicans would be, they'd be deep into the conspiracies by now. Deep into them.
Everyone else to know, we're leaning forward on as robust accountability and transparency as possible. We want you to know what we know as soon as we can provide it. Absolutely. That's why we're here. That's why we announced we were in real time talking about it. Why I talked about it right away yesterday in my office is we don't want the American people to feel like things are being held back, that we can then therefore disclose.
We don't want the American people to feel like things are being held back. Pete, you're kidding.
So that is part of our investigation from CID, from Army Aviation. What were the circumstances by which that flight was exactly where it is, the people that were there, the communications, and the altitude. And as soon as we know that, you will know that.
So, Mr. Secretary, there's been some pushback, and I think there's some people within the inside that are putting out information that doesn't represent you or the president. Because they tried to, when you ended DEI in the military, tried to say that you didn't want the Tuskegee Airmen, which is about their merit. And you immediately, I know you, but some of the people don't know you. It was trying to cut your legs out before you can even get the program out. The Tuskegee Airmen have nothing to do with DEI, but they use this as a way to discredit the movement, right?
That's exactly right. The Tuskegee Airmen are an example of courageous merit of the greatest Americans and their ability to overcome and accomplish.
Isn't it insane that this guy keeps bringing, like, they're talking about merit, and this guy is literally a fucking drunken, essaying, horrible, serial cheating. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, like, and I don't care, I'll say this straight up. I've never cheated. I've always felt that it was disgusting to cheat. But I understand that people make mistakes. But me personally, I've never done it because I just can't do it. It's not the way ultimately my heart is. I believe in loyalty. I would never do something. I just can't. I could never do that for some. And you can say, you know, believe me or not, I really don't give a fuck. I'm just telling you how I feel personally. But I understand that people do make mistakes, right? Cheating on your wife, who you have children with, believe she was pregnant. Maybe I'm wrong. But having a child out of wedlock is disgusting. Getting another woman pregnant when you have a wife at home is disgusting. That is, I mean, he had this wasn't a mistake. He had an entirely separate relationship. This woman, I believe, was pregnant. So she's in a state that's, you know, when women are pregnant, they're in pain, they don't feel good, you know, there's a lot going on. And you're out getting another woman pregnant, you asshole. I mean, that's a level of asshole that you don't, I mean, that's a level of asshole that doesn't belong in government. And Republicans will tell you, what's that matter? It's irrelevant. It's really not. Character matters. And that says everything I need to know about your character. That you would be out cheating.
Incredible things because of their skill, courage, and acumen. What you're referring to, Lawrence, is something I like to call malicious implementation.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do this, but we'll do it in a way that tries to make you look bad by canceling things that make the public think you're against a certain race or you're radical in your implementation. That's why we were very clear on that.
Somebody said, not to mention, in between that, he was essaying another woman who reported got a kit done, and they still don't believe her. Not only that, he had her sign a non-disclosure agreement as a part of a lawsuit where she could no longer discuss the case openly to the public. So you don't have someone sign an NDA unless you fucking did it.
Thankfully, I will say this. In this building at the Pentagon, it's a big building with a lot of people in it. The vast majority of folks we have interacted with or I've spoken to are thrilled, are excited about the opportunity to get.
And he leans on the fact that the cop said, well, there's no criminal, because in order to bring charges, you would have to be able to be sure that you could convict someone beyond a reasonable doubt. It's remarkable. You can make it through your entire life without being investigated by the police for sexual assault. Isn't it remarkable? You know how you do it? You don't essay women. That's how you do it. You don't essay people. That's how you do it. It's not normal to be investigated for SA. It's not. You understand? And to the point where there needs to be a fucking... I'm not saying people aren't wrongfully accused. And this isn't what we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy who... There was a lawsuit where he had her sign a non-disclosure agreement. You wouldn't have her sign a non-disclosure agreement if you didn't do it.
Get rid of these programs that have been divisive, that have divided units, that have created formal or informal quota systems. That's gone, and ultimately equality carries the day. As you know, equality is different than equity. Equality means everyone has an equal shot. Equity means equal outcomes. That can't exist in the military.
There it is. There it is.
So an outfit like the Tuskegee Airmen's, we will salute and we will elevate. And we want every service member to understand what they did. That's very different than DEI programs.
Yeah, you have served our country in the military, and you were assigned to Gitmo, and I know you have a lot of experience. You've talked about that when you were on Fox and Friends often. And now Trump is making a move to prepare Gitmo for 30,000 criminal migrants. Tell us more about this and what your opinion is.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, just to reiterate for everyone in here, a little history. Gitmo was chosen because it's outside of the territorial sovereignty of the United States. That is the reason why Guantanamo Bay exists, because it could be outside of the reach of the court system. Therefore, you can circumvent the Constitution. That is why. Still on TikTok, I'm so mad I uninstalled it. No, I'm not on TikTok. I do not support fascism. Fuck TikTok. TikTok's actively dying, so you're better off with it being uninstalled, to be honest.
Ainsley, it's a smart move. It's the perfect place. And I'd say that as someone who's spent a year there with a platoon guarding detainees at the detention facility. So there's sort of two parts to this. First, as we've said from the beginning, no one will wait on the Defense Department. We will be a key element of expulsions and mass deportation. So as we identify criminal illegals in our country, the military is leaning forward to help with moving them out to their home countries or someone else in the interim. Now, if they can't go somewhere right away, they can go to Guantanamo Bay. There's two aspects to it. One, the migrant facilities. So going back to the 90s, there were tens of thousands of Haitians and Cuban migrants who were housed there because...
this guy's brought up the same point numerous times. It doesn't matter, Pete. Are you saying that's okay? There's people there with indefinite prison sentences with no formal charges.
It was a transit point in the Caribbean, and I knew of those places when I was there, and those were going to stand up fairly quickly. You can get thousands of individuals in tents, secured in places at Guantanamo Bay. There's also the eventuality that we could have hardened criminals, hardened gang members with violent criminal pasts in transit. If that is the case, we're preparing options for the actual detention facilities, the detention facilities that are basically supermax prisons there at Guantanamo Bay, to temporarily be used to house them. We don't want to put our personnel, any Americans, at risk in transit. So if you have those existing facilities, let's use them. And we will use them to serve the interest of the American people who've been suffering under an open border and an invasion.
Guys, I would appreciate hitting that thumbs up. I'm about to go off on Dr. Drew here in a minute, so I would appreciate... I know this is kind of a random, impromptu kind of live, but I would appreciate that.
Joe Biden, and we've said enough is enough. They're going home. So Guantanamo Bay is a perfect transit point to temporarily house the worst of the worst until we move them back to their home countries, who, as President Trump has made it very clear, better be prepared to take them robustly and soon. Because they sent them here, sent criminals, opened their jails. It affected our people. The president is reversing that. Guantanamo Bay will be a part of that.
Right. You just don't want it to be cost prohibitive in the transportation and the housing, because we know how much it's costing us now to keep Khalid Sheikh Mohammed alive. So we'll see about that. Pete, we know that excuse me, Mr. Secretary, we know that the drug cartels have been declared terrorist.
Bro just called him Pete. That just tells you right there the level of respect that he truly has for me. He called him Pete. He's the Secretary of Defense. He called them Pete.
Organizations. And if you find that, and we know if there's Al Qaeda, we're going to hit them. I don't care if you're in Somalia, Sudan, or in Syria. If we find that they continue to fire at our border controls and they continue to put fentanyl into our country, as the Secretary of Defense, are you permitted now to go after them in Mexico or wherever they are?
Brian, I don't want to get ahead of the president, and I won't.
Oh, no. Say it. I dare you. Say you're going to go into a completely sovereign nation and go after their criminals. Go ahead. Say it. I dare you.
That's ultimately going to be his decision.
Say it.
But let me be clear. All options will be on the table.
Oh, yeah?
If we're dealing with what are designated to be foreign terrorist organizations who are specifically targeting Americans on our border, and we're finally securing our border. We've been securing other people's border for a very long time. The military is shifting toward an understanding of homeland defense on our sovereign territorial border. That is something we will do and do robustly. So we're already doing it. Should there be other options necessary to prevent the cartels from continuing to pour people, gangs, and drugs and violence into our country, we will take that on. So the president will make that call. I'll work with him in that decision-making process. Ultimately, we will hold nothing back to secure the American people.
So, Mr. Secretary, there hasn't been much time for you to celebrate your nomination. You had to hit the ground running. You got a plane crash with one of your helicopters there. You're tackling DEI within the organization, trying to get recruitment. What other priorities do you have in your tenure as Secretary of Defense? What are those main goals?
Thanks for the question, Lawrence. I mean, we're restoring.
I'm literally craving right now I'm looking at the menu for this place I'm potentially going to order from here, and I'm craving penne vodka with some fresh, you know, when they do the Parmesan, but when they shred the Parmesan, you get those like thin, big slices of Parmesan on the top. Oh, shit. Maybe even a little dollop of ricotta. Some wonderfully made, homemade garlic bread. And you dip the garlic bread in that homemade vodka. Jesus.
Or in the warrior ethos, you mentioned it. Readiness, recruiting, ripping out the things that are detrimental to the force.
I've been on a pasta kick. I like pasta. You know?
Force.
Maybe it's the Italian in me or something.
Rebuild our military. We're going to work with Congress to make sure the DOD is properly funded, but that we're using those funds wisely. That includes things like a Pentagon audit. Taxpayer dollars that come to the DOD better be spent properly. But we also need to ramp up to ensure we're prepared with the most robust capabilities possible, learning from other conflicts to move to future conflicts, to understand how we orient toward future threats. And that's the last piece. We're going to make sure we orient properly toward emerging threats and reestablish deterrence. So we're rebuilding the military, but we're also reestablishing deterrence. What happened in Afghanistan with the debacle.
Hey, can you guys do me a favor and tell me if you can hear this Muppet talking while my mic is muted? Just say yes or no. Okay, ready? I'm going to mute my mic now, and I want to make sure you can still hear the video.
Is unacceptable. What happened with the invasion of Ukraine under Joe Biden? Unacceptable. What happened on October 7th? Unacceptable. All reflections of weakness. Peace through strength is back at the Pentagon. Our enemies will know that we mean business, and we're going to lean forward to ensure that those that want to threaten American interests or American security specifically understand exactly where we stand. So our friends know we're there standing with them. I've been on the phone with foreign ministers of defense behind the scenes this entire.
All right, Muppets, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to order just food real quick. It only takes me a second to order food. I hope you're patient and just wait, because when we come back, we're going to do the Dr. Drew.
After another blockbuster day of...
We're going to do the Dr. Drew stuff. Yes, we are watching Fox News tonight, and I like to watch them and drag the shit out of them. That's my interpretation. That's what I like to do. All right, so I'll be right back 1 second.
Trump confirmation hearings, Director of National Intelligence nominee Tulsi Gabbard and FBI Director, soon-to-be nominee Kash Patel, outlining how he'll fix the broken bureau and restore trust.
The priority of the FBI, if I'm confirmed, will be to ensure that our communities are protected and safeguarded and our children have parks to play in and not needles to walk over.
You said FBI agents were responsible for the violence on January 6th, and I quote you here, beyond a reasonable doubt. Is that what you said?
That's completely incorrect, and I appreciate the opportunity to address that.
I'll give you an opportunity in writing, but this is my time now.
Have at it.
Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
you
my entire life.
You think maybe you've made the right people mad?
If you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
All right, Judge Jeanine Kash Patel had a very good hearing today.
Yes.
You expect him to be confirmed?
I absolutely expect him to be confirmed. And I think it's a badge of honor to have Adam Schiff, who's been held in contempt of Congress and who said he had absolute proof of Russian collusion to be your enemy. But we need a radical to implement change in the FBI. I said this yesterday about RFK, and I believe it about Kash Patel. I think there needs to be a declassification office. I think it's a smart idea. I also think that this man has already proven through the Nunes memo and all the hogwash that the Democrats tried to sell to us about, the Russia collusion with Donald Trump. There's a Putin puppet and a Russian asset, and the Hillary-funded dossier that she used her campaign money to create a lie that they then, Jim Comey and his criminal gang, took to a FISA court so that they could spy on a citizen and on the incoming president president of the United States. I mean, these people are disgusting, and they need the guy who knows how to investigate them. And this guy is the perfect guy. I want to say one more thing. I wasn't aware of the fact that the Biden administration told doctors, and this has to do with the RFK hearings, that they would not receive federal funding if they didn't give gender-affirming care. I mean, how dare you tell a doctor what he should and should not do? He should be left to his own Hippocratic oath. And, we've got to end our reliance on medicine from China. If America can't figure out how to make our own medicines, we're in big trouble. That's why I love Kennedy and I love Kash.
Kash getting the support of, I believe, the National Sheriff's Association. It's like 3,100 sheriffs across the nation.
I think one of the things that was so unique about him, one, his immigrant story. Many people have immigrant stories, but in this particular position, it was different. And when he introduced his family, who had traveled from India to see him, and he said his sister traveled across oceans. I'm not exactly sure where she lives, but I thought that was moving. And also, he's got a unique background, as he did serve as a criminal defense attorney for a while. And that is different for this position. And I thought that if you were somebody that was skeptical of the FBI, or maybe even skeptical of Kash Patel, he acquitted himself very well today.
Very well, Greg. He was more articulate than you.
Oh, can you say that?
I can.
All right.
I say that with confidence.
I am so over the yes or no question thing. Have you noticed how many times they do this?
Yes.
Bernie did it all yesterday with RFK, about the onesies. Yes or no? Are you for the onesies? Yes or no? And then, Bennett did it with, I think it was Tulsi over Snowden. Is he a traitor? Yes or no? And then shifted it to Patel over fitness to serve. And it's like, it's such a grandstanding hack move, especially from Schiff, as you know, who was the corrupt congressman who targeted Kash to begin with. But it's designed to be a trap. It goes back to that prison of two ideas. They try to shoehorn you in to this framework where there's only two choices and you have to play along. But you don't have to play along. You can just say, do you have a smarter question? Do you have a smarter question? I'd love a smart question, because yes or no? It's so.
I'm sorry. Did I subject you to Fox News and their bullshit for too long? I had to order food. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten pretty much all day today, and I was like, yeah, I gotta fucking eat. I gotta eat. Sorry, man. Gotta eat. Gotta eat. Can't not eat. Yeah, is he the funny guy of the show? Yes. Yes, Tamara. He's the funny guy of the show. This is like their comedy hour, basically. So, if you guys don't know, I'm pretty familiar with Fox News because I absorb, the opposition. I absorb the opposition. It's what I do. And it makes me better at debunking their bullshit. You know what I mean? I can debunk their bullshit better when I know them, and when I hear their talking points and I hear what they think is funny, and I'm much more effective at destroying their arguments. In this case, right? This is a guy who is basically, how can I put this? He's basically he's their Jon Stewart. That's the way I could put it. Now, he's no Jon Stewart, but he's their Jon Stewart. You know what I mean?
Stupid. It's so...
Shut up. No one cares. I just put you on so I could... All right, so here's the thing. Here's what we have to talk about. Dr. Drew. Yes, I'm going to go off on Dr. Drew. If you are someone that likes Dr. Drew, I don't know, there's something wrong with you, but I'm not happy with Dr. Drew. And I'm going to show you why. And hopefully this can be brought up here. If I can... Is this it?
And Doug.
Whoa, we moved. We're in a
Why would you need to erase General Mark Milley if you're Donald Trump?
Because I'm petty. Because.
All right, I gotta hold on, people, because this is doing this thing again, and I need to.
There is a reason why Donald Trump appointed.
I need to wait till it goes down. So basically, if you guys don't know, just to give you a summary, Dr. Drew, who's just a total asshole. And if you guys remember, too, I called him out a long time ago. Because he started to go to the right side of the political spectrum. I tried to go on his live. I believe it was on TikTok, or it might have been on Instagram. But I tried to go on his live on one of these platforms he was on. And I was going to confront him. I was basically going to say, I see the movement to the right side of the political spectrum. I know it's about money, and fuck you, basically. He didn't bring me up. He wouldn't bring me up. Even though the chat was saying, bring Adam Cray up, he wouldn't bring me up. I know he saw it because the whole chat was saying it, because I was in the chat saying, bring me up. And he was talking about politics. So this has been a movement towards the right. No, I'm talking about Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, not Dr. Phil. There's been a slow progression. He's talked about vaccines in a way that I don't appreciate. He's talked about a bunch of things I don't like that are really bad. But anyway, he goes on television the other day, and he starts talking about saying that it is disgusting what Caroline Kennedy said about Pete Hegseth being drunk on the job. I'm sorry, not about Pete Hegseth, about Robert F. Kennedy and his previous substance stuff and all this. And while you may surface level say, well, oh, that's cool, he's defending people with substance use disorder because the things that Caroline Kennedy said are about someone that is recovered, and so you don't want to hurt people who have substance use disorder by perpetuating or furthering the stigma. And this is something that I talk about a lot, right? We need to be careful not to mock people specifically for having substance use disorder, as it is a disease. But Dr. Drew is friends with Dr. Oz. And Dr. Oz ran a campaign that relied entirely on bashing people for substance use disorder in Pennsylvania. And Dr. Drew never said a freaking word about it. Not a peep. But now that he's moving to the right and he's getting airtime on these right-wing news networks, he's now going to speak up as if he's defending substance use disorder, and that's why he's bashing Caroline Kennedy. Let me tell you something right now. Dr. Drew, I see right through you, Muppet. I see into your soul, you grifting Muppet. I know that you are trying to placate to these right-wing alpha passport bro Muppets on the right. I know that those are the people that you want listening to your podcast, because you know people with a brain are not interested in listening to what you have to say. You're just a average dude who happens to be a doctor. But if you throw in the mix that you're all about the bros and you're all about young men and you're all about teaching, that you're empathetic to their struggle. I use that word deliberately. That you'll make more money. I see right through you, Dr. Drew. I see right through you. I know exactly what the fuck you're doing. I can see right into your soul. Right into your soul. He goes, I was offended And look who we had on his,
now, Dr. Drew Pinsky.
And look who we had on his show 6 months ago, right here. Hey, Dr. Drew, as a doctor, do you have a problem with the things this guy says about vaccines causing autism? Does that bother you at all? I see right through you, my guy. And it upsets me. Do you know why it upsets me? Because I used to have respect for Dr. Drew. I'm not going to lie. I used to respect this guy. Because I thought that he was better than that.
Joining us now, Dr. Drew Pinsky, Chief Medical Board Member of the wellness company, TWC Health.
I can't see the original interview because I can't scroll down right now. Let's just take a listen to this real quick. I've never seen this. I'm just curious. Let's take a listen.
Also interviewed Kennedy several times, done a lot of work with him. It's glad to have you here, sir. Thank you. So much to get to. But this concept that we have a health crisis in America and more medication from big pharma may not be the answer doesn't seem that outrageous to me.
No, it isn't. And what is outrageous is that before this week, you were unable to ask the question, why are these things happening?
Hey, I want my flowers right now. I know there's not too many people in here. There's only 200-something people in here right now. It was kind of a random live on YouTube. That's not bad for a random live on YouTube, but I want my flowers right now. Who remembers me calling this out fucking over a year ago and saying Dr. Drew is about to be a problem? Who remembers me doing that? Who remembers me saying Dr. Drew is headed down? And people would say, do you mean Dr. Phil? People used to always ask me, do you mean Dr. Phil? No, I don't. I mean Dr. Drew. This guy is headed down the same path as Dr. Phil, but it's worse. Do you know why it's worse? Because he has credibility. Dr. Phil doesn't have any credibility. Dr. Phil's an asshole. Nobody cares about Dr. Phil. This is different. This is more dangerous. Let me see here. Jessica, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Adam, I'm with you. This is disappointing. I used to respect and enjoy him. Jessica, so did I. I think that's why I'm upset. By the way, guys, I do these YouTube lives for free right now. I am not monetized on YouTube, so if you would like to support the live, my Cash App is Adam Cray, just like my username. One word, Adam Cray. And there's fake accounts out there with 2 or 3 or 4 eyes. Don't donate to those. Just Adam Cray, one word. And then my Venmo is Adam Cray Politics, one word. They're both in my link tree. But if you would like to support, as I am not monetized on YouTube right now, I would appreciate that.
And still, you will get terrific derision.
And of course, I will read your messages if you do that. Whatever your message is.
If you ask, why did autism go from 1 in 5,000 to 30 in 100? Well, I mean, we have to ask these questions. Why did obesity go up? Why is diabetes going up? When I was in training, it was always being dismissed as, well, we're just living so long that people are ending up with chronic disease towards the end of life. That is no longer the case. And it's increasingly clear that at least part of the problem is the way we eat and the food we get, which, if you've heard, the very same lobbyist, scientist, and marketing professional.
People, this is, I know many of you don't see this because he's kind of flying under the radar right now. Tell me you're not pissed off. I know you're mad. Because a lot of you, I bet you probably respected Dr. Drew. Remember with that show, Celebrity Rehab? I remember back in the day, I'd be like, man, I don't like the idea of profiting off people's substance use. This guy's over here talking about Caroline Kennedy. Bro, you made money off people's disease, you sicko!
Moved over from tobacco to food. So no surprise, yummy, addictive food, heavy lobbying, and we have unhealthy populations.
Yeah, I have to confess that I wrote...
Hey, Cindy says $20. Cindy, thank you so much. Hope this pays for most of your dinner. Thanks for everything. It does pay for some of it. Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate that, Cindy. O'Connor, thank you for the $5, O'Connor.
This segment and researched it while eating a combination of Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids. So there is that. But there is a couple of things here.
No message from O'Connor, but thank you, O'Connor.
One, Republicans saying, you think Robert F. Kennedy's weird? Just look at Rachel Levine, Assistant Secretary of Health right now.
Susie says, my son has autism, and this has me reeling. Listen, I've told people before, my mother's passion in life was autism. My mother's passion, my mother's reason for existing was autism. She went to school for this. She actually got my mom had her master's degree. She was originally what's a speech language pathologist, and ended up developing a very well-known program directed towards helping autistic children with individualized learning. My mother died on the younger side. She had cancer and passed away. She would be turning over in her grave at the things they're saying about autism. Vaccines have nothing to do with autism. And my tolerance for that kind of misinformation is zero. I've blocked people for just even asking the question. We are doing such an incredible, we're the adults in this situation, people. We're the adults in this situation. And here we are doing an incredible disservice to these children who have autism. Children rely on adults to be adults. And here we are, as the adults, talking about vaccination. When there's, I don't know, an unlimited amount of studies that debunk the idea that vaccines would in any way have anything to do with autism. I mean, I'm disgusted at what's being said right now.
We'll put the picture up. People can decide.
Let me thank a couple people here. Margie, thank you so much. Margie says, thanks, Adam, for calling out grifters and liars. Thank you, Margie. Appreciate you. Emily says, hey, I'm Tamara on YouTube. Just wanted to point that out. By the way, your show tonight is super funny while I'm elevated. Thank you so much, Emily. Appreciate you, Emily. Noelle, thank you. Thank you, Noelle Blueheart. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate the support, as I'm not monetized on here.
For them,
but we will be at some point. You'll be able to join, but we're not there yet.
Themselves, it was a he before she became.
Your mom passed away. Sorry to hear that. You know, it's losing your mother is a pain that's hard to describe.
A she. We'll get the picture there in a second. But there's this orthodoxy, right? You can't question why girls are having their periods younger and younger, going through puberty younger and younger. Why?
And this is creepy as shit, dude.
Young men, as they grow up into their teenage years, no longer look like the young men of the 1960s and 70s. Just look at like the composite pictures in high schools. You can't ask why everybody in Italy is so much healthier, even though they eat pop.
Whoa. What did he just say? Yeah, there's steroids. There's steroids in food. That's not. Don't pretend like you're exposing that. I mean, there is steroids in that we give to these animals. And so there's I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, that's, but I don't know what that has to do, where we went from autism to that. I mean, that's fucking weird. You see what I mean? Laura, thank you so much. Dr. Drew, Laura, thank you. I appreciate it. Says, Dr. Drew sold his soul for money. That's what he did. And I'm going to do an entire video. I don't know how long it's going to be. Exposing Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, you're mine. And YouTube, I have no restrictions. Look, the good thing about YouTube is I can drag you. If I don't like you, I can make a whole video on your life. Now, Dr. Drew may not care because he's popular. But I care. And it's going to make me feel better to do this video. And we're going to play clips like this. We're going to play your wild pivot that you've made from advocating for people's rights and the existence of people in the trans community to now being on board with nothing but right-wing conspiracy and misinformation. And from the bottom of my heart, F you for doing that, especially as a doctor.
We'll put the picture up. People can decide for themselves. It was a he before she became a she. We'll get the picture there in a second. But there's this orthodoxy, right? You can't.
And by the way, we're going to do a thing where I need you guys to tell me anytime Dr. Drew is live. We need to get me on a live with Dr. Drew. We need to get me. I was so close, he wouldn't bring me up. The whole chat. It had to be on TikTok because the whole chat was saying, bring Adam Cray up, he wouldn't bring me up. We have got to get me on a live with Dr. Drew. It will be the perfect clip of all time because I'll call this out for what it is. And he's not been called out. And I just want him to know, I see what you're doing. I see that you're grifting. I can see what you're doing. You want the right to start donating to you. Guys, something I've always talked about is if I was a right-wing political commentator, I would be double the size and I'd be rich. Because they throw money at their creators. The left does not support the way the right does. The right supports you on a crazy level. Look at some of the idiots like older millennials and these guys. They make big time money. They get massive donations. Massive. People buy memberships too. They blow memberships and subscriptions out of the water. The left doesn't do it the way the right does. Look how Trump grifts. If I wanted to be a right-wing alpha bro, passport bro, I'd be a millionaire by now. And I've made nowhere near $1 million in 3 years. They grift the shit out of their followers.
Can't question why girls are having their periods younger and younger, going through puberty young.
Ed is just a troll. He's a Republican Muppet. No one cares what you say, Ed. You're going to be on the mantle soon, so... But here you are on a Friday night watching me, mantelpiece. Here you are on a Friday night watching me, you mantelpiece.
Younger and younger.
It's Friday night. You could be with anyone you want, but you're with me, mantelpiece.
Why young men, as they grow up into their teenage years, no longer look like the young men of the 1960s and 70s, just looking like the composite pictures in high schools. You can't ask why everybody in Italy is so much healthier, even though they eat pasta and drink wine.
Exactly.
You see Robert Kennedy actually asking those questions and getting answers?
Oh, I do. This is his thing.
Listen, if it's Friday night and you're watching me, I'm your dad. All right? If it's Friday night and you're sitting here watching me trolling, just remember, I'm your dad. Got it, MAGA?
When I first interviewed him, he goes, "Look, I know how to dig into corrupt organizations. I've done it my whole career." And he said, "First thing I'm going to do," and I don't know if you saw the announcement. It's all over.
No, one of the mods got his dumb comment. He's almost on the mantle anyway. He's from TikTok.
X right now. But he said to me, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the major journal editors and publishers, and I'm going to threaten them with a RICO action if they don't disclose everything about their relationship with Big Pharma.
Amy says, yes, Daddy.
And straighten that out. He just announced that not only is he already doing that, there's going to be a RICO action, he's including the medical societies in that action. So he will find out.
God, why am I so mad about this? I'm sorry. I may seem irrationally angry about this, but you guys have to understand, I liked Dr. Drew. Jamie, thank you so much. Jamie says, I only realized you were live at 7:40 Central Time. Missed the last hour, which was about autism. I am a sole caretaker of my brother. Let me read this out loud so we can get the actual message because I don't want to miss it. I think it's a Venmo message. Yeah, it's Venmo. I am the sole caretaker of my brother who is autistic. He is a beautiful soul. Thank you, Adam. Love all of your content on YouTube and Substack. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate you, Jamie. And look, bless your brother. There are people out here who are going to push back against this bullshit. That I'm telling you right now. So I'm not gonna sit here and tolerate this misinformation. I'm gonna call it out constantly. I don't have the biggest voice, but I'm gonna use my power to at least try and push back against it. Jenna, thank you so much. I'm getting my master's in school psychology, and the fact that people believe this makes me furious and distressed. Jenna, I could not agree with you more. I am disgusted.
What influence there has been, how it is
and thank you so much, Jenna and Jamie. I really appreciate both of you.
Adulterated the publishing process, how it adulterates science itself. And there's just no doubt that that's happening. And we saw it, one of the great favors that COVID did to us, it had peeled that back where you could see it. Certain things weren't being published and only other things were being published. That is anathema to science.
So much here. We're learning now in the data that it was suburban moms who actually found what Robert F. Kennedy was saying so interesting. We said at the beginning of the program that, look, you can see a guy who is a vaccine conspiracy theorist, vaccine questioner, whatever you want to say.
Why are we acting like RFK is the person that has figured out that there are toxins in our food? Democrats have been screaming that for decades.
Who kills bears, or you can see a guy who's a champion for health. I see you putting your hands up. I'm going to let you answer. How and what is incumbent upon Robert F. Kennedy to not allow that narrative to take hold?
Well, it is incumbent upon everybody to continue to pressure the press. I wonder if he doesn't sue the press for slander, because he's fully vaxxed, his family's fully vaxxed. He has no vaccine denialism.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? He has no denialism? He's on record multiple times saying there is no vaccine that is safe and effective. If that's not misinformation, I don't know what is.
He wants vaccines subjected to the same scientific rigor as all the other medication that people like me are allowed by the FDA to bring to market. So we could use these things. As it is.
Can we not show him with his shirt off? That would be, look, I'm asking for a lot here. Can we not show him with his shirt off, with a guy with a Trump hat on, for the love of God? He's on testosterone. He literally takes gender affirming care, by the way. The same guy that says that, these trans people shouldn't exist, by the way. He's how old? This is steroids. That's what that's called.
It is an entirely different operation with no liability to speak of. And there may be really significant problems with these vaccines. At least we should be able to ask the questions. I'm not a vax denier. Everybody's fully vaxxed in my practice. But when I give my patients informed consent, I have to include in that these things have not been tested the way I would be satisfied to really give them a clear understanding.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your...
Let me tell you, that's just... Again, this is just an example of what I'm talking about. Right? This is just an example of what I'm talking about. I don't know why this won't let me...
Thank you for this. Thank you for bringing it.
So, then he has RFK on his little stupid show here recently. This is bad. This one I did see, and this is bad. This is probably one of the most dangerous things on the internet, only because of his credibility and this guy's position of authority as now being confirmed to the position of Health and Human Services, Director of Health and Human Services, essentially controlling the health of American citizens in this country.
Attention to this. Thank you for sharing your recovery. As you know, it's a program of attraction, so the more you talk about it, the more you're going to help others. You just made the point.
I swear to God, I feel so... I don't know what it is, but I feel somewhat of like a feeling of satisfaction, I guess, because I called this out so long ago. And I bet many of you don't remember, or maybe you didn't watch me then, or I don't know. But I have been calling out this RFK grift to the right for so fucking long. To see him just full-blown MAGA now and not even, like, he's still flying under the radar because people like Dr. Phil are really, like, wearing the MAGA hat and they're participating in rallies. And he doesn't do that because he likes to play the game that he's not actually MAGA, but we should really listen to RFK because, you know, there is a problem with obesity in the country, as if RFK is the person to come up with that thought. That's been around forever. And he's very specific and strategic on what he does in terms of interviews and stuff. So he's not getting dragged by anyone right now. And that's why I'm going to make a video, and I hope you guys share the shit out of it, and I'm going to post it on multiple platforms. I'm going to make videos on Dr. Drew, and this has to happen. This has to happen. So before I do that, I just want to play this really quick because I can't scroll down for some reason. I don't know why this is glitching tonight. But I downloaded this so we could play it. So tell me if you can hear this, everybody. This is the video. This is yesterday. Dr. Drew on Fox News. On that same Greg Gutfeld show that you guys just watched. The Jon Stewart of Republicans. Wink, wink.
Caroline Kennedy offended me. Yes, she was saying, yes, he was a drug addict, a bad drug addict. Guess what drug addicts do? Horrible things when they're in their disease. He is 20 years sober, and people that are sober that can maintain sobriety that long have some of the best moral compasses on the land. Yeah. And she is offending everybody in recovery with those BS comments she made. She should be ashamed of herself.
So did everyone hear that? He's attacking Caroline Kennedy for bringing up the fact that the Director of Health and Human Services is an admitted heroin addict. Has admitted to using the substance heroin. Now, substance use disorder is a very serious condition and is not to be mocked. It is not to be made fun of. It is not to be used as an insult. That being said, I think it's reasonable to expect that the Director of Health in this country is not someone who is engaged in such activity, right? That's not unreasonable to do. And it's not, I mean, we live in the upside down. This is normal, right? She brought it up during her thing about RFK. And I'm okay with saying, hey, listen, let's be careful and make sure we don't, perpetuate negative stereotypes about substance use disorder. But if you're going to do that, call out your buddy Dr. Oz. Have you ever said anything about Dr. Oz? He's your buddy. He ran an entire campaign. He ran an entire campaign on calling people zombies. I mean, at what point do we call out the hypocrisy? Dr. Oz is probably the lowest of the low. If you guys remember, he ran against Fetterman in the state of Pennsylvania. Fetterman turned out to be a disappointment. He's not nearly as progressive, or he's not progressive the way he ran as a progressive. But during his campaign, he was essentially mocking people with substance use disorder. He called them zombies. He said, we need to put them in camps. It was awful. It was such a terrible campaign. It actually encouraged me to start researching substance use disorder at a very high level. I really studied it deeply. I learned about medication-assisted treatment. I learned about everything to do with substance use disorder, essentially. But the point is that this guy isn't consistent. He's a hypocrite. And this video we're about to watch is deeply disturbing. Thank you, Proud Gay Boy Dragon. Appreciate you, buddy.
Bobby just made the point that brains heal other brains. That's the way I think about it as a physician.
Proud Gay Boy, I never left. I'm on Substack too, by the way. So make sure you go follow me on Substack. If you guys missed my Substack stream today, I get into a heated debate with a MAGA guy who came in and decided that he was going to start talking shit to me and telling me that people like me deserve to be in camps. So if you guys haven't seen, I uploaded 2 new clips on Substack. How many of you have seen my new Substack clips? How many of you in here have seen my new Substack clips? This is one of them.
Just coming for you and your like. There you go, everybody. Are you admitting the FBI is going to come for me? Cash is coming for you and your like. There you go, everybody.
There you go. He said Kash Patel is coming to arrest me. Substack was wild today. We did a live, we do a normal, bullshitting about the news and shit live. We're probably going to do one this weekend. Actually, I'm probably doing Patreon this weekend. So if you're a patron, if you're not on Patreon, you probably, I don't know if you'll see me this weekend or not. You might see me on Substack if you're a subscriber. But I'm probably going to do subscriber stuff only this weekend for Substack and Patreon. I'm probably going to do a live like this for Patreon. It's going to be unlisted. If you're not on Patreon, I recommend joining. That's somewhere I do a lot of content. But anyway, on Patreon, I'm going to post an unlisted link in your membership post section. So if you're on Patreon, make sure you look in your post section and you will see me in an unlisted live. So look for that this weekend at some point. You were able to bring someone up? Yeah, I can bring people up. I just don't. I can bring people up. There's nothing. I can bring people up. There's nothing that stops me about bringing people up.
Think about it any way you wish. Think about it as community, as thriving, as meaning-making, as a spiritual connection that exists amongst humans. Jung's name came up. Carl Jung came up tonight already a couple times. I think it was on the video too. So we're going to celebrate that tonight. The other thing, let's bring the panel in. I'll introduce everyone on the panel first, but thank you.
Thank you.
On the panel, you've already met Ralph and Fernando. They are here with us as well. Donna Los Cicero, she is one of the filmmakers. Robert Campos, Brandon Gwynn, who you've met through the video, as well as his son Dylan, and Tom Wolfe, who is himself.
Can I just say I love that we can just watch clips together and comment on them? Like, this is pretty fucking cool, dude. I always wanted to do this on TikTok, and you can't. You would get clapped if you did this on TikTok. This is actually cool. I like this. This is dope.
You heard his tale on the video as well, right? Tom, of course, is a recovering addict who's been homeless and has been an advocate in California trying to change the insanity of our laws there. Yeah, indeed. So,
if you're just joining us, this is going to be a very problematic town hall that Dr. Drew did with RFK. It's part of my movement to expose this Muppet. So let's comment on it. Let's see how it goes, and then we'll go from there.
I'll give everyone maybe we'll kind of go across the panel here, give everyone just a minute to sort of introduce themselves and talk about what they think is important to them. I will start. People that don't know, I worked in a psychiatric hospital for 35 years. I ran a large drug treatment center for 20 years. I understand this disease. I understand it in ways that most physicians don't anymore, unfortunately. I was railing against the opioid epidemic as it began, and because the regulatory agencies had been captured, I was punished for daring to say that prescribing of opiates was other than God's work. And literally, that if you didn't treat patient adequately, you would literally go to prison as a doctor. So,
I want to say this, he was not the person that came up with that idea. There was plenty of people talking about this. Let me say this real quick. I love this format too, and I love the content I'm putting out right now. The Substack content today was fire. Would really appreciate subscribing on Substack. Would really appreciate giving a Patreon subscription, even if you just do the bottom tier. But if you do a Substack and a Patreon subscription, you're going to get a lot of content from me. And immediately when you subscribe to Patreon, you get over 300 replays of my lives dating back 3 years. I constantly update when I'm live on other platforms. I'm constantly putting out different clips and this and that. So Patreon's a place to be. Patreon and Substack are good places to be. And then obviously subscribing on YouTube, but that's free.
We'll start on that end and start with Tom. And what would you like to say?
Well, First of all, I really appreciate that Mr. Kennedy wants to talk about recovery on a national platform.
Yes, we literally crashed Substack. Like, the chat was moving. I've never seen the chat move as fast as it did today on Substack.
Platform. That's something the other two candidates are not doing.
When has RFK talked about substance use disorder? Like, other candidates talk about it in terms of healthcare, because healthcare is the way that you resolve this issue, right? And RFK doesn't believe in universal healthcare.
You know, in the year 2000, there were 17,000 overdose deaths in the United States, which is terrible. And last year, there was 107,000. 107,000. So it's grown by like a factor of 8. And it's true, we're not doing very much about it. Instead, there's a lot of fighting about drug policy, which way to go, harm reduction, abstinence. The bottom line is that we need to really look at a national model for promoting recovery.
I know, and thank you so much for all of you coming over to different platforms to support me. If I could individually shake all of your hands and hug you all and say thank you so much, I would. I'm in debt to you. So thank you so much for supporting me everywhere you do. I really would appreciate it if you keep driving my content. We're going to do this together. This isn't just about me. As a community, we're going to grow on different platforms, and we're going to get bigger than ever.
And helping to get America healthy again. That's what I'll say. Thank you.
Dylan?
I don't even know what to say. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be up here. You know,
of all this was because they.
Bobby, I'm going to skip you.
For 100,000 people.
And not a kind of represents the average American citizen. She's like, what? 100,000 people are killed by this thing? We know that and have known that for years. We know all that goes into this and the suffering and the families that are being affected. What do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, TikTok takes 65%, but here's the thing. I think it's 70 actually. But anyway, the point is that if you donate on Venmo and Cash App, I get 100%. I get like 90% on Patreon. Substack gives me like 85%. So none of these other platforms are like TikTok in terms of taking the money from me. And look, it's not just about money. I won't support, like, I gave up money to leave TikTok. I won't support fascism. Period.
In the 20-year Vietnam War, we lost 56,000 American kids. So we're losing almost double that every year from this disease. And you think of the $1 trillion we put into that war and the daily preoccupation on the news, the nightly news coverage for 20
Thank you for joining Patreon, Foxy. Appreciate you.
20 years, the presidential elections that were fixated on it. And it's half the number of people affected that are affected every single year. Our communities are being torn apart. We need to give this the same priority. I'm very reluctant to dictate a government solution. What we found from touring, I wanted to see every place, and I still do this. This is a small fraction of the places that we've actually visited. I wanted to see every place that's doing this right. And what we found is there's a tremendous diversity of approaches that are working very, very well. The one thing almost all of them have.
You know what works really well for substance use disorder? Universal health care. Making sure that people actively suffering from the disease can get the treatment that they need. That's what works. Giving these people the health care they deserve because they're sick and they deserve health care and they need health care. And that's what they need, and that's how you deal with it. My wife tells me TikTok is not the same now anyway. The OG TikTok is dead. Yes, Freddie. The TikTok that we knew is definitely dead. It's not the same. Everyone tells me the same thing. It seems different. It doesn't seem the same. It's not as interesting. That's because it's slowly moving towards, it's Trump talk now. It's not TikTok. So it's going to die. Obviously, it's headed in that direction. That's why I'm expanding. But also because I don't support sending messages out to 175 million people thanking Donald Trump. That is incredibly harmful. incredibly sick and they should be ashamed of themselves. And I won't make money for them until that platform is not in the hands of Donald Trump.
In common is that they don't have government support. And so I'm very reluctant to get government involved in a way that is going to micromanage places like this. I want to make government support them, and that may be through land purchases and through those kind of contracts, but I don't want government to be coming in and micromanaging. I think this has to be run by NGOs. And
what are you doing about the issue with health care? During his confirmation hearing, he would not even say he supports universal health care. What does that say?
You have to use we have to use a lot of different approaches. You know, Franklin Roosevelt, when he was launching the New Deal, said, we're going to try these programs and we're going to try something, one thing at a time, and if it doesn't work, we're going to abandon it and we're going to try something else, but we're always going to be trying something. And, you know, all I can guarantee, I can't tell you right now that there's one solution.
Guys, so just to make it clear, he has some kind of voice disorder. I forget what it's called. That's really not important to me. I don't talk about that. You won't see me mock him for that because it's, you know, if someone else who doesn't believe what he believes hears you making fun of it, they could be hurt by that. So I don't touch that stuff. But what I will say is what he's saying, the context, right, the substance of what he's saying is disgusting, and that's what I focus on.
Solution or even a multiplicity of solutions. What I can tell you is that in my administration, we're going to solve the problem because I'm going to focus on it. And if there's things that are working, we are going to create ecosystems in which those kind of solutions can proliferate. And, you know, Bill Wilson, you know, you were talking about Carl Jung. Carl Jung treated a friend of Bill Wilson's who was a Boston millionaire. He was one of the wealthiest families during the Great Depression, and his name was Roland Hazard. And he was a very mentions of the AA program and the exploration that we've been going on for the last.
The point is, he had this guy up on stage pushing this bullshit.
Last 13 months.
So again, it just kind of brings me back to the whole fact that we have a president.
I'm sorry, I just don't give a fuck. Why can I not fucking scroll? This is fucking insane.
You've talked about Donald Trump's mental health.
This is 5 years ago. Pay attention.
Let's talk about the president.
Yeah, I get a little anxious talking about it because here's my history with that. Is I was on Don Lemon one night talking about. I did about 15 minutes on it.
You were on Don Lemon. Remember when you used to be reasonable?
And essentially what I was saying was that, well, you know, there's a lot of successful businessmen that are hypomanic, and I see all those hypomanic traits in him, but a lot of guys stay that way. And
guys, RFK tried to frame 2 people for murder. So he's a terrible human being.
And use that as a way of, like, you know, he doesn't sleep, he's hyper energetic, all this stuff. And of course you have to be narcissistic to be at that level.
Notice the difference, people. Notice the difference in how he's speaking about these people.
And to be into all these things, and we see all that. The question is he a malignant narcissist? Well, malignant narcissists don't really maintain relationships with their family. So that sort of suggests he may not be, right? And it's neither here, I don't know if it's good or bad, because history has been, that office has been, I mean, I started looking at Teddy Roosevelt as my favorite president. I thought, oh my God, he was a malignant narcissist and hypomanic.
Is that why he was your favorite?
No, I didn't even realize that until I started comparing him to our current president. I thought, so what does that really mean? I don't know. Then
so you're able to make a diagnosis through observing him.
You can
through
certainly
the media.
see hypomania for sure. You can't really see. I mean, you can see it.
Hypomania.
Yeah, it's just that he talks about it. I never need to sleep. I have inflated energy. He's sort of a little pressure to speech. It's just sort of a biological state. And a lot of business guys that are successful are that way. A lot of them.
Never miss a beat.
I'm really frustrated that I cannot do this right now. Like Like, why won't it let me? Why will it not let me? What is this?
Dealing with the liberal media is at the top of President Trump's mind. And now the White House is rolling out a new strategy to hold the media accountable. It's launching a new social media page called Rapid Response 47, providing real-time updates on the administration's every move. The first page reads, quote, "Welcome to the official rapid response account of the Trump 47 White House. We will support President Donald J. Trump's America First agenda and hold the fake news accountable for their lies. Let's make America great again." Kaylee, the name of the game here is accountability. Rapid response is an important endeavor for any campaign. I mean, these guys are so impressive. They're like young keyboarders who like know everything and in an instant can fact check.
I don't know. Maybe it's me, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, and one of their responsibilities is going to be to push back on the liberal hoaxes.
Why the fuck do they all look the same? What the fuck? Why the fuck do they? I'm sorry. Why do they?
A new strategy to hold.
Almost wonder if this
of President Trump's mind
credibility on their own.
Dealing with the liberal media is
so seriously anymore. And I was thinking of this during the very first one.
The top of President Trump's.
Were you accurately
is at the top of President.
I was thinking of this during the very first White House press briefing this week when an Associated Press reporter asked Caroline Leavitt if she was going to vow to be honest.
Tell me that's not the same person with a different.
And truthful at all times.
The top of President Trump
at all times. And I was sitting there thinking,
the top of President Trump's mind.
Did you ask about the president's cognitive? I wonder if anyone
else is rolling. The first page.
Press reporter asked Caroline Leavitt, did you ask about?
And now the White House is rolling out a new.
Did you try and suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story?
And now the White House.
For the vast majority of reporters.
Response 47. Providing real-time updates on the administration's every move. The first page reads, quote, "Welcome to the official rapid response account of the Trump 47 White House. We will support President Donald J. Trump's America First agenda and hold the fake news accountable for their lies. Let's make America great again." Kaylee, the name of the game here is accountability. Rapid response is an important endeavor for any campaign. I mean, these guys are so impressive. They're like young keyboarders who like know everything and in an instant can fact check.
Yeah, and one of their responsibilities is going to be to push back on the liberal hoaxes, the false narratives that are going to come out about this administration and its.
What do you think they told her before she went on stage? All right, here's the words that you want to say, okay? Listen closely. Liberal hoax, fake news, Trump is God. Go.
Policy moves, but I almost wonder if this page is really necessary because I feel like the leftist media has done such a good job of just destroying their credibility on their own that I wonder if anyone even takes them seriously anymore. And I was thinking of.
Amy says, same Muppet, slightly different font. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
This during the very first White House press briefing this week when an Associated Press reporter asked Caroline Leavitt if she was going to vow to be honest and truthful at all times. And I was sitting there thinking, where were you when you were sitting in front of Karine Jean-Pierre? How many questions did you ask about the president's cognitive ability at that time? Were you?
Do you think she knows the three branches of government? No.
Accurately reporting on the COVID lab leak? Did you try and suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story? And the answer for the vast majority of reporters in that room is that they all lied. They're not honest people. And the greatest thing about this past election cycle,
saying that from Fox News studio is wild,
is that voters have figured that out and they just don't listen to them anymore.
You know, Emily, and I just think about some of the mistruths that have now been debunked. The COVID lab leak theory, which is now credible all of a sudden. Lafayette Square, we've been through this on the show, but the most egregious one during my tenure was the bounties on the head of U.S. soldiers that they said Russia had in Afghanistan, and they suggested Trump didn't do anything and let our soldiers die, to which the Daily Beast later revealed Trump might have been right to call it a hoax. The left-wing Daily Beast. Accountability is important.
Can you imagine being locked in a room with these two?
Everything.
I'm sentencing you to life in prison, and you have to be locked in the room with these two.
I mean, the list is so long. The whipping, things that were brought up, by the way, in these confirmation hearings, literally, those mistruths continue to be put forth by sitting senators.
I swear to God that that's the same person. What the fuck?
And sitting congressman, it kills me. Here's what I love about it, though, is that if libs try to come out and say, like, but what about all the disinformation and misinformation?
Bro, she just said libs. If the libs come out. Oh my God, I swear to God, dude. These people have to be trolling. There's no way, dude.
Information and all the million other misinformation.
I gotta tell you guys a story about the time when I went to a fucking barbecue with a bunch of Republicans. I've told it before. It was just like this, dude. They were saying libs and shit. Like, they were like, libs don't know what they're talking about.
Words, we can be like, oh yeah, totally. Actually, go to Rapid 47, and that's the account. Yeah, that's the one that has the facts. So just give it right back to them so that they know the truth actually is out there.
Yeah, George, this is a way to be on offense.
You said this is news. Yes, this is why I love Fox News. I know this is going to be a controversial take. I laugh. So it is my job to absorb the bullshit they say, so I can then debunk their talking points and get out in front of what they're saying. I laugh so much watching this network. It is literally, you know what makes me laugh all the time is thinking about the fucking guy that's in his recliner watching this like every single night from 5 to 9:30 before he goes to bed, dude. Imagine watching this and trying to get smarter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, but
smart.
I think it's absolutely
more smart, rather.
Necessary. And look, he was very clever in disrupting the way that the traditional media reports. Mm-hmm. And this is a reflection of that election victory and directly responding in an unfiltered way. Has such an amazing ability to connect directly with constituents.
Just think about the dude who's like, whoa, that guy looks like he's definitely committed homicide at some point. Listen, they never caught him, but he's 100% checks the FBI's most wanted to make sure he's not on the list. But anyway, the point is this. Like, tell me I'm lying right now. Tell me I'm lying. This dude 100% has done some shady shit. You know what I mean? But anyway, besides that, right? Can you imagine the guy, right? The MAGA supporter, the red hat wearing Muppet, sitting in his recliner at fucking 5 o'clock at night to sit down and watch this bullshit. I can't remember. Can you imagine sitting down and watching this every night? Oh my God.
Constituents, and this is just an extension of that. I'm going to be interested to see if he creates an AI-generated bot that reflects him and can kind of respond and spin quickly.
These people are insane. Oh, my God.
Middle of the night, but now we are in a 24/7, 365 news cycle, literally. And this is a reflection of that. And it's exciting to see the White House. And we should pose the question to you as a former press secretary on how this should be structured.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to correct the record in the aftermath. I remember when Jim Acosta quoted me out of context, and the first tweet gets like 1 billion retweets, and even his colleague Jake Tapper said, oh, it's not quite what she said, and then the cleanup effort is very...
I'm sorry, I laugh every time I think about the people that sit down in the recliner and watch this every night. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much. I just think about it. Can you imagine sitting down at night like, yeah, can I get my tea? Like, this is fucking funny as fuck, dude. Can you imagine watching this every single night and thinking you're becoming more informed? This is the news.
Very minimal. You know,
I'm sorry, this is too funny, dude.
Speaking of cleanup efforts, Leslie, I want to remind everyone what we were told about just how sharp Joe Biden was. Let's bring in the other Joe.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
They're playing MSNBC. Like, that's the only example they have of the left.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
It wasn't the truth, Leslie.
Stop. This is too fucking funny. It wasn't the truth, Leslie. Oh my God. This is why our country is so stupid. Oh my God, my stomach hurts. Stop. This is too fucking funny, dude. Who watches this shit? Oh my God, you gotta be an idiot.
I'm sorry, I don't go to Joe Scarborough for my facts.
Hey, I don't know.
Yeah, we go to you. We go to you for... I don't go to Joe Scarborough for my facts. Yes, I tune into Fox News.
Oh, you're on the left.
Oh, I don't. And as a liberal, I'm offended when you use a generalization.
They always have this fucking, like, liberal that they bring on. This person's a liberal. They call him a liberal, and all they do is bash Democrats. They always have a liberal on. This person as a liberal, and they constantly tell you they're a liberal throughout the show. I'm a liberal, and all they do is, like, agree with the Fox News people. It's fucking hilarious, dude. Token fucking liberal they bring on.
Everybody lies. Liberals lie, conservatives lie.
I didn't lie about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities.
It's the reason it's one of the command.
Wait. What'd you say? I didn't lie about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities? Hold on.
The reason it's one of the commandments because it's the reason it's one of the
It's one of the commandments. Yeah, she sounds like a liberal, dude. She's citing the commandments. Yeah, she's liberal as fuck. She's citing one of the... That's why it's one of the commandments. Thou shalt not lie.
Conservatives lie.
I didn't lie about Joe Biden's cognitive ability.
I didn't lie about Joe Biden's cognitive ability. Ma'am, did you graduate high school? No one gives a fuck. I don't even know your name. I didn't lie about Joe Biden's cognitive ability. Nobody knows who you are. You bobblehead.
It's the reason it's one of the commandments because, you know, God knows that we struggle with that.
Damn, you sound like a liberal. God knows we struggle with that. Yeah, you sound like you're on the left. That's why it's one of the commandments. Oh my fucking God. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to dye your hair brown, and we're just going to call you a liberal, right? Because you can't be blonde. If you're blonde on Fox News, you're a raging fucking fascist Republican. We're going to dye your hair brown, and we're going to call you a liberal, and just fucking say you're a liberal, but disagree with everything Democrats say. Ready? Go.
What I would love to have the president fact check himself. I just don't believe that's really going to happen. You know, I have seen, and, you know, at least I'm not being disingenuous, I'm being honest. I have seen lies come out of Democrats' mouth. I've seen lies come out of Republicans' mouth. I can go on with list of both, whether it's, you know, eating the cats and the dogs, or, I mean, the list just goes on and on. Well, if this actually does say, okay, President Trump said this, you know, on this date and then said that, which did he mean? Here is the truth. Here is the lie. That'd be great. I just don't think we're going to see that from this site.
It'd be nice to have unbiased fact checkers because we know Glenn Kessler, Washington Post, all of these folks are quite muted when it comes to the
Can you imagine if we had an unbiased fact checker for Fox News?
left, but
You wouldn't get a word in edgewise.
very vociferous when it comes to the right. All right.
Holy shit, that was funny, dude. That was fucking hilarious, dude. I swear to God, that was funny. No, Fox News is so, like, it's pure comedy. I don't care what anyone says. It is the best.
Meanwhile, while investigators work to find the cause of the deadly D.C. crash, President Trump is ordering...
Earlier, these guys were complaining about DEI. A guy, a woman, and a black man.
View of DEI in aviation, warning it may have...
There it is!
...played a role in this tragedy.
Peter Doocy is at the White House with all the details on this story. Peter?
Good morning, and President Trump is saying he thinks he inherited a transportation system that was made less safe by the last...
Yeah, you 100% own a two-way mirror. Like, if I go to your house, I'm doing the two-way mirror test. Like, 100% I am fucking checking for, like, holes in the drywall.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Pete Buttigieg, king.
You know how badly everything's run since he's run the Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster.
There was a plane crash in Pennsylvania? I wasn't aware. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, everybody. I gotta get my food.
Now, the Department of Transportation is government agency charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it, 45,000 people, and he's run it right into the ground with his diversity.
Buttigieg responded to that, saying, "Despicable. As families grieve, Trump should be leading, not lying. We put safety first, drove down close calls, grew air traffic control, and had zero commercial airline crash fatalities out of millions of flights on our watch." President Trump now oversees the military and the FAA. One of his first acts was to fire and suspend some of the key personnel who helped keep our skies safe. That is something that White House officials dispute. And you look at this full screen, there have been a lot of changes in federal hiring practices from Trump 1 to Biden to now Trump 2. The president is saying, though, he thinks DEI hiring practices prioritized placing unqualified workers in jobs over safety.
We don't even yet know the names of the 67 people who were killed, and you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think with the names of the people, you mean the names of the people that are on the plane, you think that's going to make a difference?
Does it comfort their families
They
to
are
hear you
a group of
blaming DEI
people that have
policies?
lost their lives. If you want a list of the names, we can give you that. We'll be giving that very soon. We're in coordination with American Airlines. We're in coordination very strongly, obviously, with the military. But I think that's not a very
strongly
smart question.
President Trump knows more.
So wait, hold on. There was a plane crash in Pennsylvania? Yeah, they forgot my drinks. They're coming back. They got to go get my drinks. Hold on. Hold on. There was another plane
Major
crash.
breaking news to tell you about out of Northeast Philly right now. We have reports of a plane crash at Cotman Avenue and Bustleton Avenue. Details just coming into our Fox 29 newsroom right now. Eyewitnesses are telling...
Is this it?
Us there are multiple cars on fire. We have several crews on the way right now. We'll try to get some more information here, but it's not too far from the Northeast Philly airport. We don't know what type of aircraft is down. Injuries, what led to all of this, we do not know. Again, Bustleton and Cotman, right by the Roosevelt Mall here. Reports of a plane crash in this area with possible fire and a major response coming as soon as we can bring you ground pictures, possibly even from our Sky Fox. We will do that to you here on Fox 29, and we'll be right back.
We continue to cover this story. Josh Sanders, I believe, is on the scene right now. Josh, where are you, and what more can you tell us?
Hey, Yuki, good evening. Good to be with you.
Well, this is weird as fuck. I can tell you one thing I'm not doing, getting in a plane anytime soon.
We are on the opposite side of Roosevelt Boulevard, so you can see behind me Roosevelt Mall. I actually had to park about a 15-minute walk away from where our crew is right now. That's just because this area is so congested. We've been talking about that all throughout the night. This is a very busy intersection when it comes to Northeast Philadelphia. And so what I've seen so far is just a lot of people here. I walked through one of the neighborhoods that was impacted. There's a lot of people just in shock right now. They're taking this moment in. They really don't know how to feel. As I walk past people,
is there any footage out where we can actually see it?
Where you could just see there was a daze kind of in their eyes, just taking this moment in as we are.
I don't have a choice. I travel often for work. I'm not trying to scare you, Tara. I'm sure you'll be fine. It's very, very statistically unlikely that your plane goes down. So if that gives you any comfort, it's more likely you pass away in a car accident than you do in a plane. So just take a deep breath. You'll be okay.
are waiting.
I'm actually getting on a plane soon myself, so, and I don't have a choice, so you'll be fine.
To find out more information about what happened. I do have an update. We were just told by Philadelphia police they should be holding a press conference around here in about 20 minutes. We hope to find out more information of what's happening right now. I want to be careful with what I tell you, what I saw as I walked over here. I'm just going to be, I'm not going to be specific at all. I'm just going to speak in broad terms of what I saw because, again, we don't have a lot of the details. What I saw as I walked through, and Philadelphia police allowed me to walk through because we are media. I do want to say anyone else that isn't media or a first responder, you don't need to be here right now. You just don't. You need to let the officials do their jobs right now. But what I saw is debris from that plane spread throughout the Roosevelt Mall parking lot. I did speak to one officer who told me that that there's the potential for casualties and evidence within that area, and so that's why right now investigators are doing what they're doing. First responders are here right now. I was able to...
By the way, if you guys have not subscribed on Substack, please subscribe on Substack. It's very important right now to try and blow up my Substack subscription, so I'd appreciate it.
See where the plane crashed, where one of those row homes were on fire. Obviously a lot of engines there, a lot of first responders there as we continue to just gather information as to what happened. But I think right now the moment is very surreal for people. It's very shocking for people, especially in light of what took place in the nation.
Wait, is this the video? What are we watching here? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Hold on. Oh my God. Wait a second. Holy cow, dude. This is actually fucking scary. Oh, shit, let me make sure I can pull this up correctly. Holy crap. Oh my God.
To see where
everyone watch. There's a video coming up right now.
The plane crashed, where one of those row homes were on fire. Obviously.
Oh my God. Whoa, dude. So that crashed right in the city?
A lot of engines there, a lot of first responders there as we continue to just gather information.
My camera is my camera is one of the highest quality cameras you can get. It's a Sony ZV-E10. But the only thing is I don't have a streaming desk right now. I'm trying to save up to get I'm trying to save up. So subscribe to Patreon and YouTube or send Venmo and Cash App. I would appreciate it. I'm trying to get a streaming desk to where I can have this camera in a better place. Right now, it's way back and above my head because I only have a desk that I can put behind my other desk to fit my monitor on. So, and I obviously have to put it in a place where it doesn't fall. But you guys should like the quality. The quality should be clear. The quality, the sound, everything should be super clear. I've spent a lot of money on this technology to be able to do this. So I appreciate it. I hope it's clear.
Information as to what happened, but I think right now the moment is very surreal for people. It's very shocking for people, especially in light of what took place in the nation's capital. This is something that feels very heavy for people here in Northeast Philadelphia and for our city. But again, in about 20 minutes, we should hear from law enforcement officials. They'll give us an update on what they can tell us and what we will, obviously tell those watching us right now.
Hey, Josh, you said you saw the impact, or not the impact, but the point of impact. When you saw that, was it anywhere from our vantage point? It looked like it was behind.
God, look at that. Holy shit, look at this. Look at this, everybody.
But again, in about 20 minutes, we should hear from law enforcement officials. They'll give us an update on what they can tell us and what we will, obviously tell those watching us right now.
Hey, Josh, you said you saw the impact, not the impact,
Holy
but
shit.
the point of impact. When you saw that, was it anywhere, from our vantage point, it looked like it was behind one of the row homes near the mall. Could you tell if it hit a house or not, one of the row homes, or was it an open area, a parking lot in front of the mall? What could you see from your vantage point?
What it looked like to me, Yuki, and I want to be careful because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but what it looked like from my vantage point was the crash area was in front of a group of row homes. There looked to be damage to one of the row homes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at this. All right, now I'm getting suspicious, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm getting suspicious with this Trump administration. Look at this.
Or was it an open area, a parking
lot? Watch this one here. Watch this one.
Lot in front of the mall. What could you see from your vantage point?
What it looked like to me, Yuki, and I want to be careful because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but what it looked like from my vantage point was the crash area was in front of a group of row homes. There looked to be damage to one of the row homes. Oh, sorry, there was somebody yelling. There's damage to one of the row homes. It looked like that was a row home that was on fire. I know that there's a number of video out there right now on social media and going across social media platforms right now. Obviously, we're working hard to get video that we know is, a video of what happened. But again, here mentioned that they said the fire was put out. It probably was that row home because it did look like there was burnt areas on the row home and damage to this row home. But what I will say is I walked across, this was across the street from Roosevelt Mall. And you have a huge parking lot here. Ross, Dunkin' Donuts, stores here, a Macy's. I saw debris from the plane throughout the parking lot.
Wow.
So you can just imagine that, it probably 40 yards away where the potential of this plane coming down around this neighborhood, and then you had debris that flew 40, 50 yards into the Roosevelt Mall parking lot. And as we work to find out the number of casualties, of course, we know that there were 6 individuals on that aircraft heading to Missouri, a medical aircraft, our medical flight. We don't know what the casualties were on the ground. We're working to find out that information. It looks like we're about to have a press conference with the Philadelphia Police Department. So we're getting ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this microphone on the stand.
We're going to get a press conference here. Let's listen to this. This is going to be interesting.
And then we can take a listen, okay?
You got it, Josh. We will definitely come back to you when it starts. But as you can see, the mayor should be there very soon, along with other officials from the city of Philadelphia, to discuss the crash of this Learjet 55. Let's talk about it more right now and go back out to the scene. I believe Carrie Corrado is standing by with more information. Carrie?
Yuki, this is all hands on deck. Every police officer, every firefighter is here trying to help. Everywhere you look, you can see flashing police lights here, and people are out really trying to figure out what exactly is going on. I spoke with a man who says he saw the explosion from the crash, and then he got out of his car and he just ran. Another man says he saw a massive fireball, and then another young boy we spoke with say he saw the plane coming down. Many people are also out here.
With costs as high as they are right now, no one can afford to lose their health care. But that's exactly what
Sorry. So, where are we here? So, have we had a press conference yet? Have we had a press conference? Autumn said I'm 29 minutes from the crash. Autumn, if I was you, well, I'm not telling you to do this because you don't need to do this, but if I was you, I'd be there filming the shit. You probably won't be able to get anywhere near it. Hold on. We gotta find a press conference here. That's what we gotta do. The people came and brought my food and they forgot my drinks, so that's not good. All right, so can someone give me a time on when this happened? Can someone give me the time when this happened?
A small plane crash in the area of northeast Philadelphia.
This is very weird. People, this is weird. Okay, this statistically does not happen very often. So the fact that we're watching this within 24 hours is sus. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is weird. I don't care what anyone says. This is weird.
And we've got Joe Holden on the phone. Joe, do you have any more information about
pretty good footage here right next to the crash, too?
What we are looking at right now?
Yuki, I've been working my police sources, and I don't have a monitor up to see what it is you are looking at, but I do have photos from the scene. In fact, one with you if you want to take a look. It is at the intersection of what appears to be the boulevard at Rupert Street, and it is just a disaster. Police sources there are telling me that this plane, when it came down, parts of the plane hit cars in the area. Some businesses near the Roosevelt Mall are on fire, as are some other structures. I'm racing to figure out, the extent of damage there and possible injuries. I'm hearing some grim details that we have not yet confirmed.
Guys, if everyone could X the chat out and hit the thumbs up, I would appreciate it. I need the thumbs up to be hit. If you can hit the thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. It helps me a lot to hit the thumbs up, hit the heart button, but the thumbs up button, liking the live, is super important, so I'd appreciate it.
But just from some descriptions of law enforcement on the scene, this is a devastating scenario there in northeast Philadelphia. And if I'm just walking through some of the images I'm looking at that are being sent to me, there are what can only appear to be piles of fire across some of the streets in northeast Philadelphia, with debris and cars and
almost
notices were of tightly packed neighborhoods with row homes.
Does anyone know what kind of plane this was? What kind of plane are we talking about here?
It is
two people on the plane, so it couldn't have been that big.
Densely residential neighborhood.
No, I'm not muted. You should be able to hear me now. You can hear me, right, everybody?
That butts right up to for sure.
Yeah, especially this time of night, Joe, because it's the rush hour is just about over, but I'm sure it was pretty active in that area. It is the mall area, and that once again, it is in a neighborhood. The row homes we are looking at on our video, you can't see our video, are backed up to this ball of flames from where that plane went down. So, oh my gosh, I can understand when one of your sources said it is an absolute disaster.
The image that we were able to see from the Citizens app showing those row homes, and then to the left, this large fire burning behind them. I understand that is the area of the Roosevelt Mall, of course. And then the police, when I was on the phone with them, could not account for how many businesses were on fire. There was no word of any...
I wonder if anyone died on the ground. I mean, holy shit.
Ability to control what was burning at that point from the...
Let's see. Pull this one up. That sucks. That view sucks.
A small plane crash in the area of...
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. It's a rainy start to the weekend. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, we are following breaking news, and we want to warn you, these are some shocking and disturbing images.
goodness, that's the moment. A small plane, look at that,
No, I see you, Jolly. I can see you typing right now.
crashed in a Philadelphia neighborhood. According to our sister station, there are reports of nearby homes catching on fire because of this crash. At least 2 people were on board the plane, and there's reports of multiple.
Jolly in the chat. Jolly Good Ginger in the chat. Go follow Jolly Good Ginger in the chat. He had his shit all fucked up where you couldn't even search the name, but go follow him.
People hurt on the ground. It comes just 2 days after a commercial plane and military helicopter collided outside Washington, D.C., killing all 67 on board both aircraft. We'll have more on this breaking news situation of a small plane crashing into a neighborhood in Philadelphia as the news comes in on air and online at abc10.com.
Area. Joining me now is Jimmy Weiss. Jimmy, you saw this entire event unfold.
Pretty much. Some people sent me videos.
Learjet Medical transports 6 passengers on the plane.
But we were right here and we heard a loud explosion.
This is fucking weird. I don't care what anyone says. Statistically, this is not likely to happen within such a short time frame. This is weird. That's all I'm going to say. Here's an eyewitness account, chat. Here's an eyewitness account.
Saw the aftermath of flames and smoke. Common sense dictated that I not get close to it. And then very quickly, just a cavalry of police and first responders. God bless them for going into harm's way. And we heard that there was like a medical transport. It was a couple doctors transporting a patient to like Memphis or somewhere, something with an M, or I'm not exactly sure, but that there might have been 6 people on board. And then we think it may have broken apart above the mall, because there's plane parts in the mall parking lot, but then it hit like at Cotman and around Leonard Street.
So,
holy shit.
You were over in this area, of course, a busy time of night. People are here getting dinner. That's what you were doing?
Yeah, just walking around, figuring out where we might get something to eat.
In the immediate aftermath, how soon before police started to arrive and people started calling 911?
It seemed like within a minute you could hear sirens approaching, and then it just swarmed. They were just an immediate.
Chat, tell me where you're coming in from, what state you're coming in from, what blue dots. I like to hear from blue dots. Do I have any blue dots in the chat? Let me get where you're coming in from. Let's get some interaction here. Tell me where you're coming in from. I know this was an impromptu live. No announcement, just popped on randomly, but I'd appreciate telling me where you're coming in from. Let's hear about it. Let's hear about you.
Response.
And Jimmy, in light of what just happened in Washington, D.C., what went through your mind immediately when you saw that plane go down?
Well, you don't want to think you don't want to think the worst things, but obviously it's very concerning to have 2 aviation disasters so close together when we haven't had one really in quite some time. So it's concerning for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're with your family, is that correct? What did you guys do as soon as you saw the police starting to move in?
We just kind of sat there with our jaw dropped. We started to inch a little closer, but then the police started cordoning everything off. So I didn't want to get too close because it just looked bad. And other people running towards it, and too many cooks spoiled it.
Love my blue dots. Love my blue dots. Stay strong, blue dots. Love you guys.
So I didn't need to be in the way.
Now, if somebody is just joining us and did not hear the beginning of our interview, people are saying that it sounded...
Holy shit, dude. What the fuck? This is insanity.
Just like a bomb was going off. Is that what it felt like to you?
It felt like the ground shook. And
oh my God, this is bad.
And you could hear...
Dude, look at that. Look at that.
It was a loud boom. It was startling, for sure.
Yeah. Did people start running toward the scene? My understanding is that people were running toward to try to get video as opposed to running away from this scene.
Yes, a lot of people did do that. I'm not that person, so I'm not taking videos. Like when I go to a concert, I want to hear the concert, not film the concert. So I just kind of stayed back, let everybody else take care of it, and let first responders, arrive and do their due diligence. I'm not looking for a second explosion. So once I hear one explosion, another one might come after it. So I have children, and they want me home tonight. And sadly, some people, won't have that luxury today. It's very sad. Horrific.
Jimmy, people who are not from this area, can you describe what this area is typically like right around dinner time and what kinds of people, how the traffic situation was? Because, of course, as this comes down, it leads to a major incident with fire after that explosion. And this is a very busy time of day.
This is a pretty busy area. It's Cottman and Bustleton. It's, the Roosevelt Mall's been here my entire life. People are getting something to eat. They're shopping. There's a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of commerce here. So it's typically pretty busy either way, even with the weather.
Yeah. Jimmy, thank you. I really appreciate your time, and I'm glad that you're safe. And thank you for sharing that with us. So we're going to continue to monitor the situation out here. We've talked with several people. I spoke with a gentleman who was working out at a gym right down the street here, and he says that the weights literally started to fly off the walls. The building was shaking so furiously. But Shari, we'll stay on the scene, and we'll bring you more as soon as we have it.
Alexis McAdams joins me now. Alexis, what do you have?
Hey, Jesse. Well, I just got off the phone with some senior fire officials who tell me that the story here really has been this blaze. OK, you can see it in the video. We're talking about multiple fires that have popped up all across the street there. That's because these senior fire officials out in the Philadelphia area tell me that when the plane went down, it sprayed that jet fuel we were talking about everywhere. So not just all over on those cars and the entire parking lot near the mall, but all near those row homes. They specifically said 6 homes and at least 6 cars, okay, lit on fire, exploding there. And these people thought they were under attack because if you look at it, you see a thing go down like this big fireball in the middle of the street, and then the debris starts flying all over the place. People were kind of just driving down that street heading to wherever they were going on a Friday night, and they see this thing coming down. They didn't know what was going on. They had to evacuate at least 3 of those.
Substackers, welcome in. We're covering the Pennsylvania, I guess it's Pennsylvania, plane crash. Wild shit, like an inferno.
Row homes. So I'm told it was kind of like the end 2 that lit on fire first. Pieces of this jet are all over the place. Something that we've been talking about too that's important to point out, because if you don't know tons about airplanes and the sizes, we're saying,
if you're a Substacker, make sure you subscribe and follow so you know when I'm live on YouTube too. You don't want to miss those lives.
It's a small private jet. Well, it's still pretty big. So they were saying it carries a lot of jet fuel. You can have about like 7 to 8 people on one of these Lear jets. Right now, we know there were 6 people on board, according to Secretary Sean Duffy, the new transportation secretary, who's now dealing with 2 plane crashes within 48 hours here.
Thank you for the 300 people or so that are in here right now. This was kind of a random live. Appreciate all 300 of you. Thank you. I would appreciate hitting the thumbs up button so you can like the live. I'd appreciate it.
In the country, people have
we're going to be doing a lot on YouTube, callers, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned on here too.
A lot of question about what is going on. The plane was going to Springfield Airport in Missouri. It was in the air for 30 seconds before this thing went into basically a fireball and came down. But again, this was a 3-alarm fire. So as we try to figure out why the plane went down, those questions are going to take a while from the FAA. But I think people on the ground are now dealing with all of the...
Oh my God, look at that, dude. Imagine your life is just over in a second. Jen, what's going on? Jen, how are you? Miss you, Jen. Make sure you're following on Substack and YouTube so you can stick in with the content. What makes this sus? I think statistically, it's just very unlikely, and I think that's what makes it sus.
This havoc. I mean, it looks like, little.
And by the way, I'm taking the Republican approach. Every time something happened under the Biden administration, these Muppets would be like, "That's weird. That's sus," and I'm going to do the same shit now. Yay!
Explosions all over the place. They think that the fires near the row homes, Jesse, are under control. But it wasn't just the row homes. It was the cars that were also in that parking lot. And those are full of fuel, too. So that's why these things are popping and causing small fires everywhere. So the fire department's working on it.
Yeah, it looks like a war zone out there in the Northeast Philadelphia. You said that they were able to evacuate people from these row homes that were on fire?
Yeah, the senior fire official told me that they had crews out there as quickly as they could. So Philadelphia Fire Department, they had some ladders out there. He said at least 15.
Can we see the press conference, please? Like, I want to know the information. Like, can we get the press conference? Thank you. Why am I not getting the press conference? Fucking, I'm having technical difficulties today. If you don't know, for some reason, I'm having an issue with this bullshit today. Oh my God, here's the Ring camera footage. So people kept asking me, pull up the Ring camera footage. I got it. Here we go, baby.
Yeah, man, she's still hanging. Yeah, man, she's still
Holy shit! Holy crap! Oh my God! That is... Can you imagine being those people?
Yeah, man, she's still hanging.
Oh my God, you could see it. Look it over this set of houses. Look at the houses or apartment buildings, whatever they are. Look into the sky to the right of the footage. Look into the sky and look and see. See it? See it? It's fucking nosediving. Look at it. See the fireball?
Yeah, man, she's still hanging.
Oh my God, dude. Jesus.
Yeah, man, she's still hanging.
Now, wait a second. We can learn a lot from this footage. That plane is on fire before it even hits the ground. Watch again. That plane looks like it was shot out of the sky. I don't know what happened. You know, engine could have... Who knows?
Yeah, man,
watch the plane.
She's still hanging.
That thing is fucking already on fire. Look at it. Holy moly. That is terrifying. Holy crap.
Yeah, man, she's still hanging. Yeah, man, she's still hanging.
This just happened like 2 hours ago. This just happened. We're watching the footage. This just happened. So if you're just tuning in, another plane has crashed now in the state of Pennsylvania. This plane went down in a inferno. Looked like it was already on fire. And we're watching the different footage right now. I'll get to all of the footage as we go forward. But let's check this footage now and see what happened here. Oh my God. Look to the left. To the left of the screen here. You can see it up in the left, right up here, but where my hand is. I don't know why it doesn't show my cursor. I got to figure, again, I'm still trying to get my stream as the way I want it. But look to the left of the screen here. Oh my God. Carol said, a mile from my house. So scary. Holy crap, Carol. Holy crap, Carol. What's going on there? A lot of police, I imagine. Holy shit. I don't know, people. I'm not an expert in aviation, but this is weird. I'm not an expert in aviation, but this is fucking weird. Let's check in live and see what's happening live so we can get some information here.
Go from homemade recipe to household name.
Part. Listening to the gentleman that Carrie Corrado was just speaking to, he spoke to the gravity of the situation as a father having to see.
Jacob says Trump is who we thought he was is so misleading. Jacob, shut up.
Some of the things he saw tonight. A little while ago, we also ran into another gentleman, much younger gentleman, who also had to or was faced with the horrific situation. And some.
Jacob says, now you guys are conspiracy theorists. Please tell me you're not fucking saying that right now. Jacob, you did this for 4 years. You did nothing but perpetuate conspiracy theories. Now you're going to say, because I said it's weird because it's statistically unlikely that these two events would happen within a 24-hour time frame, you're going to say, now you guys are conspiracy theorists? Jacob, go away. All right? Just go away.
Some of the things he saw, let's listen to what he had to say right now.
First, I heard a loud boom, and I seen like the little spark out of my window. So I hurry up. I ran right over here to see what's going on. I just seen flames, smoke, and then I was chilling over there. And then I was with my friend and all that. We had seen like a little kid. He ran out the fire. I want to send my condolences out to anybody who lost their peoples and all that. For sure, it's just tragic. Definitely hurt. And it was crazy. Like me and my mom and my niece, we was just on the road 5 minutes before it happened. Coming down.
Jacob's calling us conspiracy theorists now, right? These guys did not. Jacob, if Biden was the president right now, you guys would be claiming that someone important was on that plane, Muppet. Don't you dare. Don't you dare call us conspiracy theorists now. I guarantee you're a mantelpiece.
Off 95. Just on the road. And then 5 minutes later, that's when that happened. So it was like, dang, that could have been us.
How do you feel about everything that you witnessed tonight?
Tragic. It hurt. Even though it wasn't none of my people that got hurt and all that, it still hurt. It's crazy.
That young gentleman did not want to share his name with us, but he also shared some of the horrific things that he saw. We did not share that with all of our viewers tonight, but again, it just speaks to the gravity of this situation here in the Northeast tonight and what the residents here, many of them unfortunately had to face with and had to see tonight. And that doesn't even speak.
Jacob is a Muppet in the chat. Let's get some Jacobs is a Muppet in the chat. Let's get some frogs in the chat. Jacob is a Muppet in the chat.
Speak to the tragedy of those.
This Muppet has the audacity to say that I'm being misleading. Has the audacity to say that I'm being misleading. Jacob, you did this for 4 years, my guy. Every single thing you said was a conspiracy. Everything you did was a conspiracy. Now we're like, wow, it's statistically unlikely that two planes would crash in this way within such a short time frame, which can be substantiated. And you're saying, wow, now you guys are conspiracy theorists? Muppets in the chat. Spam those frogs in the chat. Blow that chat up. We got a Muppet in the chat.
Those involved who lost their lives tragically tonight.
Yes, Siafa Lewis. And as the mayor shared during that news conference a short time ago, they do not have the number of fatalities at this point, but the governor saying we know there will be loss.
That young man said it in 2 words, tragic, and it hurts. And it does. Siafa, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're going to check in, I believe, now with Josh Sanders, who's standing by near the scene as well. Josh?
Yuki, good evening.
Go to bed, you shoe.
You know, yeah,
you slipper, you pothole, you toenail.
We just heard from Mayor Sherrell Parker and Governor Josh Shapiro. One thing that struck me about the governor and what he shared is this is an example, a tragic example, but it really the heart of Philadelphia.
Somebody said, "You absolute shoe." That's what I used to say on TikTok. You absolute shoe. You worn, used shoe.
Is with us right now when it comes to neighbors helping neighbors. The Governor Josh Shapiro said that he hasn't been in contact with the newly appointed.
Give your favorite Adam Cray quote in the chat. Give your favorite Adam Cray quote in the chat. Father says, so cool, you guys. Shut up. Shut up, Muppet. Give me your favorite Adam Cray quote in the chat. You absolute shoe. You bagel. You bagel. I remember one time I called a guy a bagel and he said I was an anti-Semite. I remember one time I called a guy, this racist ass fucking Republican. I was like, you bagel. And he's like, oh, you being anti-Semitic?
To Transportation Secretary Duffy that there are 45 state troopers here. There are 25 members of PennDOT. He shared that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is here and behind the city of Philadelphia with resources and whatever they need. Obviously, you did just say that, Mayor Parker, we don't have details on how many people, in fact, how many victims there are. We know that, again, 6 people on that plane headed to Missouri. But, me.
You bagel, you donut are my favorite. Puddle, room temp IQ. I like when I ask Republicans, what is the temperature of your living room right now? Well, I don't know, fucking 71 or something like that. That's higher than your IQ.
Just listening to the sound from Kerry and Siafa of people that they've talked to. Obviously, we've been here waiting for just officials to give us update, but you really get a sense of what people are going through right now. This is a very surreal moment. They are just taking everything in. They are shocked right now.
This is, oh my God, there's a picture of right behind these. I think they're what are these, condos? Are these condos or apartment buildings or something? What are we looking at here? I think they're condos. But either way, look at that right behind there. Complete inferno. Rest in peace to the victims of this awful tragedy. Very weird. I don't know what happened yet. We're still waiting to see what happens, and we'll go from there.
What's going on, and obviously the video that we've seen throughout the night, the past, going on 4 hours now. A video that we've seen of what transpired here 4 hours ago. This is a tough night for our city, but to have Mayor Parker, to have the governor here, to have the support of the Commonwealth, and also to know that
what are townhomes, like houses that are attached or something? I don't know. Is that what you call them? Townhomes?
President of the United States has been.
Is that what you call them?
Briefed as well, and that everyone is sharing.
Italy is a boot. Yeah.
Their thoughts and prayers. Also, I think an important note, we don't know how many people have been impacted, right? But Mayor Sherrell Parker did say that anyone affected, there is a shelter at Samuel Fells High School, and that's important for people to know. So if for some reason people are watching this right now, or they're talking to friends that they have been affected, that they need help, they need resources, that's where they should go. Samuel.
This is insanity.
Fells.
So planes were what? How many days are we into the Trump presidency? Week 2, and planes are falling out of the sky. It sounds like a poem.
High school, guys. So it's and again, Mayor Parker said that they would provide more updates when they have information to share. We will obviously be working with our sources to figure out when there will be information to share, and we'll obviously bring that to you. And right now you can see some of these engines coming through. This is all hands are on deck right now, and this not only impacts obviously the people that live here.
Now the question is Donald Trump going to blame this on DEI tomorrow? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen. Is Donald Trump going to blame this on DEI tomorrow? That's coming. That is coming.
Happened here. Everyone is at a place right now where they're just, they're processing what's going on. But to go back to what our governor said, and I think this is the silver lining.
Well, if you don't know, Donald Trump blamed the first crash and Pete Hegseth on DEI. So will he blame this on DEI? Likely.
In all of this right now, neighbors helping neighbors. We have to show up. We have to show out. We have to be with each other right now, and provide that support. And again, I just want to echo this before I throw it back to you guys. What Mayor Parker said if you don't need to be here, if you have not been, if you don't live here, if you not have been affected here, you don't need to be here. You need to let first responders, officials do.
Yeah, let me say this right now. I consider myself somewhat of a journalist. I'm trying to move more in that direction. Don't go there. Don't interfere with resources that need. These people are going to need resources. They're going to need first responders. Stay out of their way if you're in that area.
What they have to do right now as they investigate and determine, what happened and how they can help people here, guys.
It's very sad. People lost their life tonight. Life is so precious, Things are happening lately that we're complaining about and we're upset about. But you know what? We're alive. We're alive, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a blessing that we're alive. So let's be thankful that we're alive. At least we have that. You know what I mean? A lot of people lost their life tonight, and that's upsetting.
Josh, I'm sure many of those first responders, male and female, are probably from that area. And when I was growing up, that area, and it's called the Great Northeast. They will rise. They will rise.
All right, and now our Carrie Corrado standing by at another location near the crash site. Carrie, you were saying earlier that some
do we know what kind of plane it was? Somebody said it was a Learjet.
Of the emergency personnel has started to disperse from that area. What are you seeing right now?
That's right, and you could
if you're just joining in, we are watching a plane just crashed in Pennsylvania. It's a pretty big deal. We don't know what's going on. We're watching the news. We're commenting on it live. It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. We're sitting here. We're going over the news together. I hope you enjoy. I hope that this makes you want to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Make sure you tune in to both my Substack and my YouTube. Would appreciate a subscription on Substack and Patreon to help me continue to dedicate time to my content. I would appreciate it. That's where I am. Substack and YouTube is going to be my content exclusively.
Rain is also let up, which is helping the investigation, but we've also been speaking with a lot of witnesses because keep in mind, a lot of people were here when this happened because they live, work, or were shot.
By the way, if you missed the debate today, I had a debate with a Republican today on Substack. That is going to be uploaded for Patreon and Substack subscribers. If you're a subscriber on Patreon or Substack, you're going to get the Substack live sometime this weekend. That's going to be up there on Patreon and Substack for you. If you're on both, I love you so much. Thank you for subscribing to both. It really helps me. But I'm going to be putting it on both of those subscription platforms. So if you have a subscription to Substack or you have a subscription to Patreon, you are going to get that replay with that Republican who was basically saying that Kash Patel is coming for me and all. He said a bunch of crazy shit. His wife is an immigrant, but yet he wants undocumented immigrants deported. It was insanity. That will be uploaded today for subscribers.
Shopping around here. Joining me now is Norman. Norman, thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, it's nice to see you.
You saw the plane in the sky. You saw it coming down. Tell me what you saw.
The first thing you see, like, out of nowhere, it's not even, like, in sight at first, and then out of nowhere, like, it's on an angle. You just... and then it just like dropped, like it didn't even drop normally, like it was abnormal. Like you would think for a plane falling, like no, it just straight down, and then like I don't even know how to explain it in words. Like it was just so.
How did you keep your cool with that asshole? So Bertie, I have been talking to Republicans for a long time. I've been a creator for 3 years. I've always been really interested in politics, but I've been talking to them directly on social media for 3 years. So I have a pretty good ability to stay calm in those moments. I tried to de-escalate because I wanted to get some information out that was important. The guy was contradicting himself completely. I actually destroyed him. So when you watch it, you're going to see me point out about 15 different contradictions. He kept referencing the Constitution, and I kept asking him questions about it that he didn't know. Somebody said, what is Patreon? How do I get onto Patreon? Kathy, if you're on TikTok, it's in the link tree in my bio. You'll see a Patreon link. But if you just search Adam Cray, one word on Patreon, you'll get it. But go to the link tree in my bio on TikTok, and you'll see a Patreon link. Click that link, and then you buy a subscription, depending on what tier you want to support monthly. And you get access immediately once you subscribe whether it's $5 or $20, and I appreciate doing whatever tier you do, but I'd appreciate the higher tier. You immediately get access to over 300 replays that I've done over the last 3 years. You get replays dating back 3 years ago that you can watch. So it's in the link tree in my bio.
Bad.
So describe to me,
Or you can just search Adam Cray, one word, and you'll see it on patreon.com.
see like a fireball? A lot of people tell me they saw an explosion.
Like you know how say if the U.S. were to drop a nuke on a smaller scale, like that same mushroom cloud, yes, that same big fireball, just and then everything around it just started catching. Like after a little bit, everybody was nervous running through the streets. I didn't know how to feel. I was just calling people frantically. I'm shaking. I don't even it was a lot to handle. I'm just glad everybody that made it out. I'm so sorry. I pay respects to the people that died. Rest in peace to those souls. I heard it was 6 people that were on that plane.
That had to be really hard for you to see. I know you're going through a lot right now. Can you describe to me, too, where people were running towards it to try to help? It was like neighbors looking out for neighbors. Is that what you saw?
Yes, it was a couple neighbors that I seen trying to help other neighbors, see what was going on in the area, because there's people that really care about each other over here, especially here. I know all of Philly, people get the wrong picture and stuff. People paint Philly, to be this terrible place. No, people really do come together over here. This is really a place of brotherly love.
The city of brotherly love, they do.
Say that because in a crisis, everybody knows how to get together. Everybody, even through panic, all of that, everybody can get together and everybody can help one another, and that's what's a blessing.
It's just weird. It's just weird that this is happening. Seriously, rest in peace to those souls that were lost tonight. That is, life is precious, and I feel extremely sorry for their families.
Thank you so much for joining us and sharing that. So, Yuki, as you heard, neighbors were looking out for neighbors. Everyone was running there to try to help each other out.
That's what it's all about. That young man said it all. Said it all. Kerry, thank you. We're getting our first look at the debris up close.
Oh, my God. That's the fucking plane. Holy shit. Wow. Look at that right there.
This plane part. We're getting our first look at the debris up close. This plane part landed in the Roosevelt Mall parking lot. And you can see the medical symbol.
Wow. Medical symbol? Was it a medical plane?
That marked the side of the plane, just ripped to shreds. Symbol. That
why was there? Wait.
Mall
why is there a medical
lot.
symbol? I don't get it.
Said it all. Kerry, thank you. We're getting our first look at the debris up close. This plane part landed in the Roosevelt Mall parking lot. And you can see the medical symbol.
Oh my God, that's even worse. Jesus. Oh my God. Medical plane carrying a pediatric patient. Oh, stop it. Please tell me you're kidding. I'm going to cry. Please stop. Tell me that's not right. They weren't carrying... Were they really carrying a pediatric patient? Please stop. Please tell me they weren't. Child, parent, 2 dogs. Oh my God. Oh.
That marked the side of the plane, just ripped to shreds. Powerful, powerful images. 6 people on that plane, 2 doctors, 2 pilots, a child patient, and a family member. Just over 4 hours ago, going down after leaving the Northeast Philadelphia airport. That picture tells it all.
Yeah, that plane was heading for Missouri. The child, we understand, was being treated here in the Philadelphia area and was eventually going to be making...
That hurts. This just made this so much worse. Not that losing your life is not bad as an adult, but something about just a child losing their life, I just can't. And sick to begin with. You know, a patient, sick, clearly suffering. I mean, this is just too much to even handle. This is just...
their way back home to Mexico. And so the fact that this happened, it just breaks your heart. And seeing that shred of the airplane there just speaks to the impact when that plane went down. And as that witness Kerry was speaking to, as he described, you see that mushroom ball of fire in the sky just explode after the plane went down.
I swear to God, if this guy goes off about DEI tomorrow and does not mourn the fact that this was a child, I am going to lose my fucking mind.
There, that piece of the plane, as Yuki, you just said, in the parking lot of the Roosevelt Mall.
And as the mayor said, if you see anything like this, if you're living in that area right now and watching us, if you see anything like this, please just call authorities. They will take care of it. The investigation is well underway. These are all vital pieces of trying to put this tragic story, this tragic puzzle, back together of why this happened just over 4 hours ago now. It's now 10:13. The plane, according to a Ring camera video, went down just less than 5 miles from the Northeast Airport after taking off at about...
Yes, one pediatric patient, their parents, 2 doctors, I mean, that's just hard to swallow. Something about children being in these situations it just makes it so much worse.
About 6:07 tonight, and here's the video of what happened from one angle, the plane going down on about a 45-degree angle, and as one witness told us earlier, as you can see right here, the explosion, the mushroom cloud turned night into day.
That's right. And the mayor saying several homes in this densely populated neighborhood of Northeast Philadelphia were impacted, several cars as well. And to your point, Yuki, there are plane parts there. This is a pretty wide debris field, we understand from our reporters on the scene. And the governor is saying that there may also be hazardous materials. So the Office of Emergency Management, they have personnel as well to make sure that
Republicans will use this as some kind of political talking point. That's the point to remember. That these guys will use this as some kind of political talking point. Susie, thank you for the $1 on Venmo. Says 6 people from the ground were treated and a firefighter for smoke.
People are not getting close to those things, and it's a dangerous situation at this point. So do not touch any of.
If you guys would like to support, you can on Cash App. My Cash App's Adam Cray. My Venmo's Adam Cray Politics, one word. My Cash App is Adam Cray, same as my username, and my Venmo's Adam Cray Politics, one word. I don't know what just happened here.
The plane parts or anything that you see debris-wise as related to this crash, as investigators are working to very much in the early stages try to piece this all together.
We were talking about the people on board, and we just...
Guys, I don't know what just happened, but I was about to pop off anyway because my camera just died, I guess. I guess my camera died? I don't know. Hold on, let me see something really quick. I do not know why my camera just shut off, but anyway, I was about to wrap it up anyway. It's late at night. Listen, everyone, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming tonight. This was deeply disturbing kind of thing that we're watching here. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like the world is kind of crashing around us. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. But I appreciate everybody coming. Thank you for coming. I love you. Hope you enjoyed the coverage tonight. I'm not monetized on YouTube yet. Of course, you can contribute through those platforms. You know how to do it. In the link tree in my bio always. But I appreciate all of you. Hope you have a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you. I'm definitely going to go live this weekend. I don't know if it's going to be on Substack or YouTube. I'm going to do a Patreon live tomorrow or Sunday or something, but I'm going to be around. So keep in contact with those platforms, and I will see you. I love you. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Take care.